Well, hey, everyone. I don't know why it didn't add me in automatically like it normally does. Good to see everyone. So, link is there. Come on in. Let's hang out. Let's chat bees. Just got off with Sebastian and Seth. And just decided to, keep it going. Let's keep it rolling for a little bit longer. And if anybody wants to come in, come on in. A beeholic. Good evening. Hey, Dennis. Yep, I've got honey. So, guys, we're just hanging out. Going to chat some bees, talk about what is going on in my bee yard and your guys' bee yard too. So, come on in and click that stream. Click that button. James, come on in. Got a fish on the line. As soon as this video shows up, we'll add him anyway. Maybe. Well, it says he's added. Maybe no freezing tonight. Why are you not added, James? Remove. Add to stream. I'm not showing you add. Maybe it's... Oh, maybe that's it. I don't know what's going on with this thing tonight. He's trying to load up. Hey, Ed. Good to see everyone. I don't know what's going on with James. James, you're banished until you get fixed. He'll be back in a second, probably. Yeah, I saw that. We just talked to Seth a minute ago. I saw your video earlier today. Good job, guys. Glad y'all got some bees. Got some more bees. James, what's going on with your stream, bro? I'm not seeing you at all. There he is. In the wood shop, eh?
In the wood shop.
You have poor reception at the house and even poorer reception in the woodshed.
Well, the internet doesn't come all the way up to the woodshed, so every now and then I just got to flip it over onto the I'll just basically on the cell phone here tonight.
Well, good. What you getting done?
Well, had a couple friends over today. So of course,
you got some pints done then.
had to put them to work. So we have what are we doing here? So we are waxing foundation and building frame. So no shortage of that to do.
So you started the 2000.
We've got basically just started. So we've got 100 pieces of foundation all waxed up, ready to go. 100 frames put together, and starting to wrap them all up. So
you're banding them?
Yeah. So I don't have my boxes or anything like that dipped yet. So I just shrink wrap. It's almost like that plastic. Band them together in sets of 10, and then they're basically ready to drop one bundle in each box, right?
So they're not just flailing around everywhere in the shop.
Correct. My shop ain't big enough to have them flailing around everywhere, but so the old rollers here, just rolling the wax on. So just I'm actually, when your live popped up, I just refilled my my crock pots, and they're not melted. Down. Yeah, they're not melted yet, so it'll take a couple hours to get them melted down.
Well, I see Earl's trying to come in, but he's having the same delay problem you had getting in.
Got her.
So today was an interesting day. So went to the queen breeder, got a few cells. None of them have hatched out yet, by the way. He said tonight or tomorrow. It's not tonight. It'll be tomorrow on those. There you go. And so we'll see what happens. It was exciting. You saw the shake of nurse bees.
And they all fit in there no problem, didn't they?
Yeah, they have a tendency to jam themselves in there pretty well. I mean, that was about 10 medium frames.
Yep.
Of nurse bees. And that colony, I was afraid I robbed all their nurse bees out of there. I'm sure they've got some, but it seemed like I took them all. But well, we're gonna see. We'll see. I think it's still a ton more than it had, right? So
absolutely, and that's where I was saying earlier. You'd be surprised. Like they'll all fit in there, and you know, usually when I build my my starter finisher, or I keep shaking them in until they literally can't get in the door anymore. You know,
well, they were hanging. That was the only colony I had where they were hanging out on the landing board at all today.
Got her.
So,
Perfect.
Standing room only. And
well,
did you see my hat? It was not a happy accident. So I went out to the truck ready to go get cells. And that sprung off somewhere. I have no idea. So I went on Amazon. This exact piece with the cable is $8.99.
There you go.
So I just ordered another one. Then I'll just unscrew the one off the one I got. Put it on there.
And put it back on.
Mm-hmm. So. Limited problems. But then I'm starting to think like James. And I'm like, you know what? I could probably make these.
Video's coming. Yeah, video's coming. It's it's all done. So just yeah, hang tight. You'll be able to see exactly how to do it.
And I was even looking for those diving boxes, those diving cases.
Yep.
But the hardest part, I think, is what did you use to cut the foam?
What did I use to cut the foam? I didn't. I've got a bunch of the foam that you can buy for inside the incubators.
I gotcha. And that's denser, so you can just drill holes in it or something.
Oh no, it comes with the holes in it.
And you just cut it to size to fit in there.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, there you go. Because I was thinking about making some, but that's like a specialty thing. I don't know if a lot of people would use them or wouldn't use them or need them. But
well, they're handy as hell. That's all I can say.
It would have been real handy today. You know how they gave them to us? They gave them to us in a FedEx box with a terry cloth towel down in them and just 25 cells in the terry. They put them in the terry cloth and closed them up and then stuck it in the box, and here you go. So
really?
Yeah, that's how the cells came today. He's like, we got some virgins over here. You want some of these virgins that are running around? The virgins. I'm like, nah, we're good. We'll take these.
Oh,
so
man.
I only got a few of them because we were going. And I was like, he said he needed 15. I'm like, it's an hour each way. And it's like, okay, I'll get 5. So let's just get 20. And then we got there and he's like, you know what? I want 20. So let's get 25. But that being said, they were $5.50 a piece. I paid for the gas in my truck. He gave me $127. So I ended up getting 5 of them for $2 a piece. So
there you go.
It's like buying a lottery ticket.
I was going to say, you got a $2 queen.
Yep.
Just remember that. So
his in a paper cup. Yeah, I've seen people use I think Charlie was saying he uses just an egg carton, and he puts his cells in there and carries them. So don't know. Let me see. My queen cells, you remember I told you I didn't put honey in the bottom of the roller cage. So yeah. I took some roller cages and put some honey in the bottom of them. And then I just moved the cell over and put it in that cage.
Perfect.
So that's
those two should be hatching out when?
Thursday.
Perfect.
The 9th. Yeah. So I've got 5 days, right? So these ones that I bought today are hatching out tomorrow. So they'll get in their mating nukes tomorrow. And
build the mating nukes today?
I did.
Perfect.
So tomorrow morning, I'll go out and squash any attempts of queen cells they're trying to make. And then sneak the virgin in the top hole, the feeder hole. I'll move the feeder jar and turn the roller cage over so she can only walk down into the hive. And then that's it for a month. See you later.
Yep.
And
we'll see what happens. 14 days anyways, right?
Yeah. So 14 days, then who knows? By that time I could drop another frame or two of brood over there, and all of a sudden that mating nuke is full nuke, right? Couple of frames of
could be, or you pull that queen out, you wait 24 hours and you drop another cell in there and you use it exactly as that. You use it exactly as a mating nuke. Now you've got mated queens.
Well, if you think about it, this round that I would do tomorrow would be, well, let's just go to the handy dandy spreadsheet. So if we graph tomorrow on 3-5, right? 3-5. Not if, when we graph tomorrow on 3-5. So 3-5 means queen cells are capped on Friday again, right? Because that's our cycle. It's funny how that works. Which means they will, she will hatch out on the 16th, which is 12 days from today. That's not bad because that puts it right around that 14-day mark of the ones that I've got in my mating nuke right now, right?
It's funny how those sheets will work.
And then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Exactly. Yep.
And by that time, guess what? My other colonies are producing more brood. And we can make the splits and everybody's happy. Kumbaya all the way to the finish line.
And Bob's increasing his hive numbers.
And Bob's his own uncle. So
well, that's exactly what I did last year. Over and over and over again.
I'm going to do it till I run out of equipment.
There you go. That happens pretty quick as long as you give the bees time to build up. That's the key.
Right.
Don't split them until the bees are ready to be split.
Well, doing it this way, it'll be more in the flow, closer to the flow, the real flow.
That's what you want.
And then I can make a smaller split and without risk of failure, as much failure, right? It's more of a
define smaller split.
Well, I don't have to do a 5-frame split. I can do a 3-frame split, right?
You could.
Bye, James. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you could. Absolutely. Completely up to you. Bat time, it's going to be a little bit warmer. Evening, Charlie. It's going to be a little bit warmer and a few things like that, right? But which is going to build up quicker, that 3-frame or the 5-frame?
5-frame.
Absolutely. So if you
damn it, James, you're right again.
If you want to split them again, don't make them weak.
Well, the only thing weak right now are my mating nukes. But I looked at it like this. Okay, so we have varying opinions on this, right?
Perfect. That's what makes it great.
So with the two, why are we in this format? What the hell is going on with this?
Go to the other format. There you go.
There you go. Sorry. So we have different methods of queen mating nukes, right? So we got the queen mating nuke, that's the cube that a lot of people use. And they just take a cup of bees and boom, and a little bit of feed and there they go. That's what they got. And then you got the 2-frame nuke, which is what I'm using. So I've got a solid frame of bees, an extra shake of bees in there, and a drawn comb, and pollen patty, and feed on the top.
Okay.
Tomorrow, virgin queen in the colony.
What I'm going to ask a question, and I'm trying to understand here. So, because I've never used the 2-frame mating nukes, but I'm just trying to understand. What's the benefit of the drawn comb in that to mating nuke?
Other than them having a spot to store the food that I'm feeding them, not a lot, right? So that's really it, because what's going to happen is that queen's going to fly out in a week or so, right? She's going to get mated. She's going to come back, and then she'll either start to lay on that other one because that cap brood will start hatching out.
Yep.
Or they'll start hatching out and she'll start laying in that one. So really not much, just basically food stores and something to plug the hole.
No, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense.
I mean, using Barnyard Bee's philosophy, he would have put a frame in there and a blank and let them work on drawing the comb out. Or they could just chew all the wax off of it. You don't know. So, it's one way or the other. But the thing is that's getting me excited about it is I'm not doing anything. I'm doing something. I'm trying to do something, right? So we're going to make it. And that's the other thing. I did put in some older comb that they have to actually clean up. So it is helping out a little bit.
Right on. That's the name of the game, right?
So
what was your question, James, about what type of comb or frame?
Well, he put a frame of drawn comb into the mating nuke. I just didn't understand
as far as just open comb, I guess.
Just the empty drawn comb.
Oh, okay.
I could just put a blank in there and let them try to draw it out. They probably wouldn't draw out much because they're tending to the brood and all, but they might.
I mean, when I put mine in there, I put I usually try to get a pretty cap brood so it populates that 2-framer.
So he's got one of those in there.
And another one that's got some food and some pollen and that kind of stuff in there.
I've got pollen sub and liquid feed on them.
Right, but I'll have.
Well,
I don't try to put the liquid feed on them that much. I try to give them a frame that's already in there. That way, I don't have to feed them.
Yeah,
so
but the frames that I selected have honey in the corners, right?
Right,
so they're not empty. They're not out of food. So,
and I put I put the cell next to the brood where they cover the brood, they cover the cell, and then that's it. Let them go to it. You're talking about them little mating boxes. Yeah, they're fine and dandy if you can keep up on top of them. If you don't have that time, you can put, you put the 2 full-size frames, and you don't have to worry about them swarming because they ran out of room. They got enough space there they can go for a while.
Well, I just feel right now, I feel like I'm not going to say I don't need to check my bigger colonies, but I don't feel like I need to be in a hurry to check my bigger colonies. I mean, I feel like they have room. They've got food. They've got everything they need. There's really nothing I can do but mess them up or roll a queen or, you know what I'm saying? One of my colonies that is big has up in the top has a bunch of queen cells, but I did not see her. I couldn't find her. So I don't know if she died or so I just left the cells in there. They're in supersedure spots. They're not hanging down on the bottom. And I figure I'll just let them, they're pretty strong. I'll just let them do what they're going to do. And hopefully it's not picking them up out of my trees, but it doesn't look that way right now. And
sounds like a good idea, I think.
So, yeah.
What are you doing, James? Building some more 2-ways?
No, I'm on to waxing foundation and building frames.
Okay.
So I had Alan and his brother Sheldon pop by today, and actually they both popped by this morning. To give you an idea, our day started with 3 coffees from Tim Hortons and ended just when everybody figured it was supper time. But what did we do? What all did we get done today? So what did we do? Put another 14 boxes together. We waxed 100, right about 100 pieces of foundation. We put 100 frames together, snapped them all together. They're all wrapped up, ready to go. And I'm just in the midst of getting another round of wax melted down to do a bunch more foundation. So,
Are you rolling that on or dipping?
no, absolutely. I'm rolling it on. So.
And I was going to ask you about that. The two guys that are helping you out, are they beekeepers or what? Are they your helpers?
They're actually the two that got me into beekeeping, if you can believe that or not. So they were the two. So they've been friends of mine. We grew up just a few miles away from each other. As kids, I was probably at their place more than I was at my own. And and I don't even how many whatever years it was ago, but they phoned me up and there's like, oh well, you know what? We're gonna go catch a swarm. I'd never seen it before, never done it before. So I was like, all right, well, I'll stop by and see what this is all about. So I went out there and they had a nice, real big swarm in the trees. Kind of the trees were going east-west on the north end of a field. So kind of drove in there and they had this nice big swarm in the one tree there, and they just were about to shake it down into the box. And I was like, well, I'll just go up the field here and I'll turn around. And went up about 20 yards and there was another big swarm. And we started looking, went about another 20 yards and there was another big swarm. So long story short, that was the first swarm I took home. And the rest is history. What do you got there, Bob?
I printed it out.
Oh, your sheet. There you go.
So and I put queen cells are capped 2 of 21, so I can kind of track how I'm getting better as I go along.
Perfect.
Or worse, Perfect. If I can track if I'm going worse too. So,
you'll get better.
You already got 2 out of 20. What 20 or 21 cells?
21.
21. So what is that, like 1%?
No, that's 10%.
Less than 10%.
Wow.
9.9% or something.
But that's still a huge success. That for your first time around, that is a huge success.
So
and you should be happy with that. So that was good.
Yeah, I'm not upset. Do I wish it was better? Absolutely. But hey, I'm glad I got 2. So
but at least you're doing the process. You're finally getting your feet wet. You're in there. You're doing it, and as far as grafting and all, you got more. Next time you'll do better as far as experience and stuff like that.
Did you see my video of going to Cutix today?
No, I've been
they
out and
about. Did a whole interview section with Octavio and the guys down there. And it didn't take on my GoPro. Total missing footage. I was so mad. But it they did 10,000 nukes last year. And the year before they did 12,000 nukes. That's insane. And you see the little section that I was in the video. That was only they got 260 starter finishers up there.
They use a starter finisher?
Well, I don't know if they use a starter finisher. That's what I call them, starter / or finisher. They got 260, so they're probably running half and half, I guess, 130 and 130.
Got her.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. I showed the grafting room, and none of that got on there. I was a little bit disgruntled about that, but hey, the way my day went with my incubator being messed up right out of the box, and
what happened to your incubator?
Well, the caddy, the end of the caddy, I couldn't plug it in, so there was no warming.
Your carrying case.
Yeah,
carrying caddy.
My $200 carrying pack that didn't. It did carry cells, but it's just basically a toolbox with that carried cells.
You know what I paid for mine?
Shut up, James.
So what's wrong with your end? What's the end? Or you mean as far as putting a plug it into a
into
a car? You mean a car jack?
Yeah, so it's got the wire that runs out of it, right? Well, you remember the old timey ones had a screw on them with the fuse in it, and you plug it in, right? This goes to the positive and the ground's in the center.
Right.
Well, the whole top is missing, and I have no idea where it is. So I had to order this whole cable and everything off of Amazon. It wasn't expensive, but it's just the point that I had to order it off Amazon. But it was $8.99. So when the new one comes in, I'll just take the fuse and the centerpiece and screw it back on. It should be good as gold. So,
well, did it come with it when it originally got
yeah,
it?
it was here. I don't know what happened to it. It probably was loose, and the spring probably shot it somewhere in the room, and I just haven't found it yet. So, but that's a necessary piece of the equipment, right? I got to have that, or it's just a box. I could just take an egg crate like you and just put them in it.
Well, I mean, all I'm doing is going from the house to the hives. That's all of 5 minutes.
Well, they were in a UPS box from Manning, South Carolina, back to Columbia, 60 miles each way. So, and that's how they packed them, not how we packed them. They gave them to us like that. So,
I just use the egg carton. It just convenient way of carrying them. You know, they stay in their little cups and they don't roll around.
Well, I'm not too optimistic. Well, they're getting ready to hatch. They said they would hatch tonight or tomorrow. So the thing was that when they put them in that box, they put them in that terry cloth towel. But when we went to take my 5 out, they were all like upside down and all different ways. And I don't know if it matters.
I mean, watch the video down there at Hardeman's where they just put them in a darn children's sand bucket,
and they just like Easter eggs, just in the pail, didn't even care.
They just dumped them out on the table. They, after they get to that point where they're hard, they don't care. They just, I don't know, maybe because there's a sheer number of them, whether they hatch or not, they didn't $5 out of their pocket yet either.
But that, I mean, it's nice. It was a nice trip through the country, talking with bees with Sam on the way down there. And he had never been there before, so it was interesting for him to get to see it. And it's just, you start coming in and they've got this 5 acres, but it's kind of an acre here, an acre there, and an acre, it's not all together. And you come in and you just see these pallets, stacks and stacks of nuke boxes and deep colonies everywhere. And all that footage was missed on the GoPro, which made me mad, that damn Max. But yeah, it was cool.
Turn that camera down, James. Let me see how you're waxing out.
Let's see if I can do this. So
well, my problem is I always press down hard on it, and I always filled the cell impressions up with wax, which I thought was not good.
No, you don't want that. Well, there's different. Let me see. Let me see if I can turn my camera around here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Settings, camera. Oop, back camera. All right. So there's different, thoughts on that. Now, you talk to Brad, and he'll tell you can't put too much wax on there. That's really all I do.
All right, so you're not pressing down, you're just rolling it and letting whatever comes off the brush, right?
Yeah, but you see, it completely coats it. As soon as it's completely coated, and it's literally that easy.
Just 2 quick rolls on each side.
Yeah.
I had sold some wax to my neighbor up here. He's learning, and he had some foundation like that. He had bought a guy out, and he says they didn't draw. I said, well, I don't think there's any wax on the darn stuff, Amazon junk or whatever it was. So I said, but don't press down, just roll it like just lay it on there and drag it across.
It's that simple.
And that crack pot gets it hot enough.
Oh yeah, you can boil it in there. You got to watch that it doesn't get too hot.
What do you put on, like, medium? I have a small one like that. Then I got a little bit larger one than that.
Yeah, no, there's only 2 settings on this, and it is on high. But it's like I say, it literally just finished, melting them. So, but and you just keep going. Now, I do have the 300 frames that Premier sent up to try from last year. These are all Premier foundations as well, but I will do the 300 that he sent up, just plain Jane. But because I have a turnaround that at my full-time job, right about when I bring the bees out here, I don't have time to have a hiccup. So I know that if I wax these, they'll start drawing them right away, and therefore they're all getting waxed.
Well, it looks like you got it. 2,000 of anything is a lot of rolls. I mean,
Man,
that's 8,000 rolls of that roller you got to do right there, James.
Well, I don't mind. Not even a little bit.
It's part of it, though. I got a customer mad at me today.
Only one?
Well, only one came by, so he must have told everybody else. So, you remember what we were talking about with discounting honey?
Oh,
so
yes.
evidently, I had given him a deal. He said I was giving him a pint and a squeeze bottle for $20. So I could understand if I gave it to him one time, maybe, like he only had a 20 and whatever, But he says I've given it to him like that twice, and I don't remember that. And I said, well, I can't really do that anymore because I'm running out of honey, right? So if you think about it, every other time you came, I was giving him a free bottle of honey.
That was a hell of a deal for him.
Yeah, so he got a little bit upset with me. I've told people, well, they haven't mentioned you,
Yeah, he told people that he's going to give you a freebie. I would have told him.
Well, I basically told him to pack sand. He bought the pint and moved on,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really running out of honey. I still got like 70 pounds in there. But, hey, that's my
That ain't much.
Well, yeah.
That's only a little over a bucket.
Yeah. But I have a few cases of squeeze bottles still yet. I've probably got 48 squeeze bottles and at least 48 squeeze bottles, maybe 60. And then I've got another 70 pounds, right?
Right.
Let me see. And it took all day to do 100. Let's see. My thing is, once the frames have been in the colony.
No, we didn't take all day to do 100. We did 100 in about 15 minutes, maybe. Got to remember, like I said, we put 14 boxes together. We finished 10 pallets. We unloaded everything. So, I mean, the whole order came in. So we unloaded 2,000 frames of foundation, all the my pallet of Pro Nukes. We unloaded all of that, got all that done. So
are you running out of storage area yet?
I'll show you my garage. It's well, we took all the Pro Nukes and everything all out to the bee barn, so they're all out in the bee barn. But yeah, there's no way my wife's going to park in the garage again this year.
She's got to love you for that.
Well, especially being as it's getting cold again up here. So it's supposed to go to minus 28, I think, again tonight.
It's supposed to be cooler tomorrow, 73 degrees tomorrow here.
How are you guys ever going to do? How are you going to make do in that?
I don't know. Hopefully my queens can make do with it. I'm hoping.
Oh, and that's the other thing we did. So as we were here, because normally I'm working out here like I am right now by myself. So to wax or to melt wax quicker, you guys have Kijiji in the States, don't you?
Have what?
Kijiji?
What is that?
Oh, okay. Maybe you don't. It's like a buy and sell website.
No, we got
Never heard of
Craigslist.
that.
Okay. So anyways, it's a lot the same thing. But it was like, well, with multiple people waxing, I couldn't melt wax fast enough. So we got on Kijiji and found another crock pot for $10. And we went and got that too. And just going to town.
It's
Where did you buy that foam with the holes in it, James?
You can buy them pretty much anywhere. Those ones I got from, I think that one I got from Bee Made. Dancing Bee sells them. They're just replacement foams for your incubator.
well, that's stout enough foam what you have there that you could probably just drill holes in it if you knew the size of it.
Well, if you're going to do that, what works better? Have you guys ever heard of a hammer punch?
Yeah.
So if you take a hammer punch and squish it down together and then use a hammer punch, your holes that you punch out through your foam get like they're really nice and clean.
Silver Gorilla said he bought a chicken roaster for $15. It works pretty well. But they hold a lot of wax, right?
Well, that's probably a good thing. If you're doing 2,000 frames,
Yeah.
you get the wax melted. That's a good thing.
But what fun would that be? No challenge in that. We got to make things hard sometimes.
Well, I have no problem doing that. Okay, so you saw that pile of wax that I had there?
Yeah.
That's 100 of them. Done. How long did that take?
5 minutes, 10 minutes tops.
So get them all boxed up and go on to another one.
That's so all right. So what about the frames that you've put in there out in the boxes and they've been damaged? Do you pressure wash them off, or you just spray them off, or you don't do anything? You just roll wax back on them and put them back in.
I missed that. You mean the ones that they wouldn't draw last year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I just let me show you. So here you can see how it's all propolised up.
Yep.
This was in the hive for almost 4 months.
And they didn't touch it.
Didn't touch it. Like I said, a little bit of propolis. They propolised up in a little bit, but absolutely didn't touch.
And that's after you waxed it?
No, this is before I waxed it. When I waxed them, the ones that I waxed, they pretty much just about had them drawn within 24 hours.
All right.
So what brand or what foundation was that from?
That was
Same thing. So this is all Premier. I use Premier Foundation.
well, because I've got a bunch out there that need re-waxing, but some of them might have been foundation that had some wax moth damage on it that I've scraped the old comb off or something. So it's got a bunch of stuff on it, but it still has a little bit of wax coating on it. So I don't know if spraying it off is going to do any good to it, or if I should just roll some wax lightly across the ridges like you're doing.
I think either one would probably work, to be honest with you.
The bees will clean it up, whatever. They don't.
I would think so. Now, the interesting thing too with this this foundation, they're all right here this year. So
Yeah.
This is, I'll show you. So this is all. Where did I put the box? So this is all Premier Foundation, and it is deep. They say heavy wax and black. Okay. Now, the one thing that I am noticing this year is if you smell this one that I came out, there's there's no smell at all to this. But the straight out of the box this year smells like beeswax. There is a distinct,
Well, you can see the beeswax on that.
nice wax to it this year. But once again, I'm still not going to take the chance. Like I say, I'm into a shutdown right where, these bees are coming out of the barn. And if they weren't to draw it, I'd be scuppered. So I have the wax. I have the time. I'm going to wax up a bunch, and then I know I've got it covered. And some people say, "What a waste of wax!" But your wax isn't going anywhere; it's still there. So I mean, when I go to pull these frames out, the wax is here. It hasn't gone anywhere. I haven't lost a thing.
Right. How many pounds of wax did you buy?
I didn't buy any. I had it all from extracting last year.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. My solar wax melter can't melt it fast enough. Let's see. Charlie, what you been doing this weekend?
Nothing much. I don't know. I went downstairs, I guess, today, and I made up some more sugar and made sugar cakes. I made it and scored it and all that, waiting for give it 24 to 48 hours before it's ready to put into the nukes. And
Are you that low on food that you got to feed them sugar cakes?
they look a little bit low to me. I haven't really dug into them that much.
Right.
I've been feeding them. Well, I've been twofold. I had a bunch of fondant, partial, like let's say 50 pounds total.
Right.
And I'm like, get rid of this darn stuff. I hated it, because it's so much sawing, taking a bread knife and cutting it and all that. And so I finally got rid of all that. And then a month ago, I gave them some patties from Man Lake Alter B, which, they pretty much waste it. They don't like it.
Well, I'll tell you, I made it in the bucket, and I just, like today for those mating nukes, I just took my hive tool and just got a scoop on my hive tool and put it right on top of the frames, probably just a small bit,
Mm-hmm.
And that way, if there's any beetles or anything in there, that hopefully they can consume it before any of that happens.
Did you put some of that activator in it?
Yeah. It's got activator in it for sure. And I saw, matter of fact, Ian Stepler put out an hour and 19 video with Andrew from Apis Biologics today. So
yeah, I guess Andrew had to get out of his shell.
Yeah, Andrew's introverted for sure. So
get on the air and just go. And well, he does. To be honest with you, like you said, when it comes to sales, he does not know how to do sales. As far as what do they call that? Promotions and stuff.
Randy said he bought a 400-pound barrel of sugar for 40 cents a pound.
That's good.
It's a lot of sugar.
Not really.
400 pounds. That's
I use 250 pounds in one setting for 40 gallons in the fall.
That's 16 25-pound bags.
Well,
so I buy it by the pallet.
I buy it by 50-pound bags.
I buy it by the pallet. There's 90 25-kilogram bags on a pallet.
Well, that's what I do. I bought 1,500 pounds of it.
So 400 times 40 cents a pound. That's a good price per pound, though. 160 bucks. 160 bucks. That's
I think
$10.
right now is right around 60 cents.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that'd be 400. You could get.
So for 160 bucks, I would have gotten 32 5-gallon pails of 1-to-1. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, we don't all have that that luxury of being able to go get 1-to-1 sugar.
Well, I'm buying it in 2-to-1 and then splitting it. So,
But that's what I mean. You know, that would be a nice luxury to have up here.
surprised y'all don't have like a restaurant store or something up there.
Oh, we do, and I can buy it from the restaurant suppliers, but it costs more money than if it is if I go buy it from Costco.
I wonder why that is.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Let me see. Andrew went deep, and I'm not very smart. And Andrew reminded me. That's funny. Yeah, they start tossing around them big words, and it's like, okay. I got you. Hold on. Slow down. I need to get my thesaurus out.
What's that on that video?
Yeah, he was really getting into the science of it.
Well, I mean, something like that. I mean, an hour and something just to talk about,
The products, yeah.
I mean, just
Behind the
let's
product.
why don't we boil it down in the next 10 minutes? It does this, this, and this. It changes the sugar water, and it imitates or changes it to whatever, as far as nectar wise, and that's all I need to know. So anyway, I did sugar bricks and have them ready here in the next couple of days. It's supposed to be topping out in the 50s for the next. Now he's going to go chiseling here.
Dink, dink, dink. What are you hammering?
He's probably got a block of sugar.
Oh, wax, a block of wax.
Oh, he's got one of them big blocks like we won at the Hive Life conference. But Randy said it was a good video. All right, well, I didn't have time to sit there for an hour and more to check it out yet. But anyway, I got that done. And then I had a lady email me. She wants 12 pounds of honey money. So I needed to pour or bottle up some honey and have it for her, plus restock my stockpile and for sales. And so by the time I did all that, I needed to put another bucket of honey in my bottling tank, fill it back up, or at least there was room to do that. So it's and that honey was pretty much, coming out of a hot box to begin with. It was pretty much liquefied, except for maybe the bottom end of it was kind of starting to crystallize, which I just dumped it in the darn hot box or into the tank, and it'll decrystallize it. That's the one nice thing about that thing. Time you get ready to use it, it's all nice and liquefied.
Well, I finally got some good news, Charlie.
What's that?
You know that settlement I've been telling you that is owed me?
Yeah, over a month or so.
Yeah, so my buddy called me and said he got his check today. So that means mine should be in the mail in the next few days. So that could be good. I might be able to buy some frames. And then I'll be waxing.
Buy some what?
Frames.
Oh.
So you're going with the check is in the mail story.
Well, he said he got his. So he said, did you check your mailbox today? Yeah, but it hadn't.
The check is in the mail. Honest.
Let me see. Buy shipping. I gotta buy shipping. Always buying shipping.
So that's what I got done today. So another clean bucket, another bucket in the hot box. The big thing for me is trying to keep up with the honey that's sitting there in the room and it's going to steadily start crystallizing.
I thought about making one of those cabinets. Here's Mr. Mark Miller. Well, hey, Mr. Mark Miller.
Hey,
Y'all
Mark.
know what time it is?
Bedtime?
It's 10 o'clock.
It's Miller time.
It's Miller time. Ugh. Bro, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I've been putting shingles on the roof all day. About half my roof blew off in that wind.
Really?
You got caught in that tornado-ish weather?
Yeah, I set 2 trees up right where they were uprooted. They were smaller trees with the tractor, and put dirt around them and then fix shingles all day.
But did they think your tractor's sexy?
Oh, yeah, my
You really
tractor's
got it
sexy.
going on. You remember
You
that?
got that right. I got an idea. I'm getting pretty good with that little tractor, right? I've been playing at it. It's one of them little 1025 John Deere's.
Right.
Why can't you take a set of forks and like with a third function on it where the forks go back side to side, and then put handles on your honey boxes, run your forks right up there, squeeze them, pick them up. Why can't that work?
Probably could.
Are you talking about like those wooden bars like you got on that hive behind you?
Yeah, like it right there. Just run your forks up here, squeeze it, pick it up.
So they do. They make that maybe not for your tractor, but they make that for most forklifts. That's how we pick up our pulp bales down at the mill.
Right.
You mean
I
as
don't
far
know.
as a squeezer type thing?
Yeah, we call it a clamp. We call it a bale clamp.
Yeah. They don't make one for my little tractor. All I can find is a set of forks, but if I did that, I'd probably have to put a third function on there to control that, right?
I hear you got to buy a bigger tractor. That's all I heard.
I don't want a bigger one, because then I got to haul it around.
How big is your, is it a small compact tractor?
See,
A
I
little
would have
1025.
already been in talking to my wife saying, oh, you know what? The guy said I need to get a bigger tractor. I'm going shopping tomorrow, honey. You get ready
Just
to
get
fork out
yourself a Hummerby and you'll be done with it.
I don't want one of them. Mine, I can roll over that deck, hook the deck up. I'll have forks. I can mow my apiary and move bees at the same time.
Mr. Sam uses he's got a 0-turn mower with a ball hitch on it, and he's got a little trailer that you can get at Tractor Supply that he's got a ball hitch on. So he just drives his 0-turn around, and he's pulling all of his feed and everything right behind him on the little trailer. And he just pulls up there, and he's not a few feet from his gear that he needs.
The only problem with a set of regular forks like that, they're designed, I guess, to go in. Ours go side in and out by pulling a pin, but they get them moving. They're kind of sloppy. You'd have to have something that's real rigid,
Right.
when it comes to that.
I don't think it would be hard to fix something up.
No.
Let me see.
You have to make something on something similar to that. Going outside?
I'm walking back to the house. Yep.
It ain't cold, is it?
Usually Saturday,
-20.
Wednesday night.
It's not cold at all.
You got snow on the ground?
Hang on, I'll show you here. We got snow.
That's not as bad as out there at Tahoe, California.
Really? You see that? You see how deep these are?
It's only a foot.
This is up to my waist, Charlie.
It is?
Yeah. There's a 100-pound propane tank. It's pretty much just about level.
About 3 feet.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what he says. It doesn't look that way in the picture.
On the camera, yeah.
Well, I don't know if that helps.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, she's pretty thick. There's not a lot of room left here in my.
Well, where were you? I thought you just went from the shop. You won't go to a second shop?
That's his garage. That's where he's storing everything after he
This
builds
is-
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So loads and loads of frames there, more boxes, pallets, all my lids.
He's getting serious.
Well, I'm going to double in size this year, so that's
So did you get an extra, what was it, 50 pallets?
oh yeah, they're all there. They're all double two. Well, you can see they're almost 3 rows deep there now. So
Yeah, but you did 25. Didn't you say you were going to do another 50 or so?
I did another 25, so now I have 50 pallets,
All right, so that means you got
100 hives.
100 hives.
Well, hey, that wouldn't be bad going from 78 to 178.
Owen, here, guess what else came in?
A bee suit?
Oh, the bee suit you ordered.
What kind is it?
That's forget what he said it was. What? Well, when he catches up to us here,
Ultra Breeze.
Ultra Breeze.
So my
I'm
battery's
thinking
got
about
a-
buying one of them. They were down at Hive Life, and I should have took the time, but I forget what they're called. They're like a Provent, but same material. But some guy out in the Midwest someplace. I forget what it's called.
That's where he got that from, I think.
Yeah, this is. Remember, we were online there the other night, and I said that Ultra Breeze was having that sale,
Yeah.
so that's where I bought that. It's arrived already. My phone's dying. I'm going to jump off my phone, and I'll come back on with my iPad.
All right.
All right. Let's see.
So what do you? So you had all that hurricane stuff out there, Mark, and all, and did it hurt any of your hives, or you got everything strapped down?
Nah, didn't blow none of my hives over. I didn't get to one of my yards because I got to go across about a 300-acre plowed field. And not as much rain as we've had, it's going to be a while before I can get back
Yeah,
there.
you can't do that.
So nothing here in the yard anyway.
Hmm.
I'm getting feedback.
Hmm.
I mean, it's always Charlie.
Huh?
We're blaming Charlie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
It's talking
Mark-
back to me.
Mark, have you started grafting yet?
No, we're ways away.
I was surprised Cubics had any because the other day he told me he was running behind on his nukes, so figured he would need queens for the nukes. So, but he said he had 45 extra cells, and we got 25 of his 45 today.
Yeah.
Well, my mentor did. I only got 5. He got 20. So
Did you get your little box working?
no, I ordered another cord off of Amazon. Yeah, so what I did with mine, I don't know if you've been on since then.
I finally got that one drilled out.
So this is what I did. I took an old, well, not old, none of my grafting stuff is old, but the Chinese made one,
All right.
and I hot glued it to this little piece of wood,
Yeah, that'll work.
and that little hole that's in the bottom fits perfect on there to hold up. Now I've got to space these out every other one because they won't go side by side. But I could put 32 queens in my incubator at one time. So,
Yeah.
and that's just they won't tip over with this thing. So I
Right.
think these pieces of wood at Walmart in the craft section were $3.57 for a 6-pack. And I weeked out, and instead of drilling it, I just hot glued it.
Yeah. I didn't get in the bees today at all. I did walk down there and look at them. They was busy. But that's about all I did today. I had too much other stuff to do.
That's kind of I mean, I made a few mating nukes up, and then put those cells in the incubator and put some extra bees in my what you call it there, the
One of them nukes I had that blew over,
right.
it was 3 5-frame nukes, right? So I pushed it down to 2 and put it all back together. And I went in there about 2 weeks ago, and it was full of bees, but there was no brood. And I did see a queen, a virgin queen. Now, reckon that queen got killed, and they made a virgin, and she's just walking in there waiting. I don't know what. I don't know if she'll get out and get mated or what. You know, still early. I just left it alone. See what happens.
That's all we can do sometimes, right? Oh, there's James.
Yeah.
He's back in his chair.
Wow. That enchilada exploded.
Did you eat?
I did. Except now I gotta go get a towel. I didn't realize it was that kind of show.
Copy that email. I'm trying to invoice somebody at the same time I'm on the show here. With additional details. Billing country.
I was looking at what's it called? He was saying up there at Dancing Bee for that pad, but they don't actually. You have to call up there and say, "Hey, I need a new pad," or what?
I can get you the number. You need a new one, do you?
I don't have one. I just want to use it in my incubator.
They're really handy. I think it was called a incubator foam.
From Dancing Bee or anybody else?
Dancing Bee, I know they have them, and Bee Made has them as well.
Now is Bee Made? Isn't that the honey company?
It's our honey co-op up here. Yep. And if you can't find one, let me know. I'm going. I'll be driving back down to Calgary here on the 18th.
Now you look under
I'll
the
drop it in
U.S.
the mail for you.
It's called an
Incubator replacement foam.
There we go.
So I gotta go. I gotta go check out Lisa's channel. I just got a YouTube notification saying that she mentioned me on her channel. So I gotta go see what people are saying about me.
She caught a swarm using my swarm lure the other day.
Nice. Is Lisa on here tonight?
I haven't seen her. No, she usually goes pretty early. And got somebody wanting to use their agriculture exemption for tax savings. I'm trying to send them an invoice. United States.
Oh.
You sound like you've been working today.
We pretty much started what? I'm gonna say, well, I was up early. Shoveling snow and everything like that. So once I got all that done, then it was out into the shop, and I've been out in the shop pretty much all day. So
Sound like a pretty good day.
turned out well. Yeah, actually, it was a good day. We got a lot done. It's interesting when you've got 2 or 3 like-minded individuals that have all worked or been around each other for a lifetime, really.
Right.
It doesn't take long to start getting some synergies and really almost get like a manufacturing line going in the shop. So one person starts and just everybody else sees what needs to be done, and by the time the 3rd or 4th round comes around, you've got it pretty much honed right in.
It's good that you got help. That's a
Oh,
good thing.
Absolutely. Alan has been over here a lot. Sheldon's been over here quite a bit. Yeah, it's nice to have buddies like that that'll pop by and give you a hand.
Yeah, sure.
Like I say, my whole order, so the, what was it, 2000 foundation all showed up. So that's 20 pound or 20 packages there. And then all the another 20 boxes showed up. That makes my complete order. All of my my pallets and stuff like that of Pro Nuke showed up. So, you get 4 guys down there. Each picks up a corner of the pallet, and all of a sudden it's loaded into the back of the truck. And it goes so good.
Yeah.
And you give them a phone call and they're there, just like that. Like it sure is nice to have people like that around.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Uh,
So you're grafting again tomorrow, eh, Bob?
yes, sir. That's the plan.
Nice.
Well, at least you didn't get skunked, Bob.
Well, I got 2 cells. That doesn't mean I have 2 queens. I've got 2 cells.
Well, you didn't get skunked though.
That's true.
That's good. I got skunked my first time.
That's what I say. He's doing like really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
My first time I got skunked big time.
well, hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit different because there's a few things that have changed about the starter finisher now, right? So one of the frames of Caproot is hatched out now. There are no larvae in there that are young enough to actually have queen cells generated off of them, which they did have. In addition to the 2 cells that I had on there, they had made 4 of their own after I had squashed down before I put the grafted frame in there. So those are gone. And then I shook a bunch of more nurse bees in there today. So, and I did something, I think it's smart, but I took a board and actually kind of leveled that colony out a little bit more because, we usually have them tilted one direction or the other. But when I put the feed in it, I couldn't put as much feed in the top because of the angle of the box. It was all rolling to one side, right? So it'd get real high on one side and low on the other. But leveling it allowed me to put more feed in it. So
keep them full. Keep the pollen on them. Like I say, you don't want them to run out of feed. So to answer Hale Hive's question there, yes, when I was down at Hive Life, I talked to the guys at the Premier counter down there. So let them know the problem I was having last year with the bees not drawing out the double waxed or the heavy waxed Premier Foundation. So they had never heard of it before. They didn't know, apparently I was the first guy that had mentioned it. So to make things right, what they did is they sent me up 3 boxes of foundation free of charge. Now, I usually don't take anything free of charge, but all he asked me was, you know what? He stood behind his product. He wanted to make sure that everything was good. So he sent me up 3 boxes of foundation.
of which I'm not waxing that foundation. That is going in exactly the way it is. Now, I did mention to him, I greatly appreciate the fact that he took the time to listen to me. He took the time and took the notes down, and he phoned me back later, which is big for myself for customer service. And he set this up to try and right something that went sideways last year. So now I did tell him, absolutely, I'm not waxing that. I'm putting it in the way it is. But I did tell him, I says, I will make sure that all of my viewers and everybody out there sees, the customer service second to none, which is exactly why I bought an additional 2,000 frames of Premier Foundation. I'll be honest, the customer service is what sold me it, to make sure that I backed him and supported him.
Right.
But I did tell him, I'm going to put those in. I'm not going to wax them. They're just going in. I'm going to video it. I'm going to tape it. And everybody's going to see. So I says, here's the other side of this. If I put it in and they don't draw it, everybody's going to know they didn't draw it. If I put it in and they draw it, everybody's going to know they draw it. So I'm going to be clear. I'm going to be transparent, and I'm going to see what happens. And I'm going to let everybody out there that watches this make their own judgment and their own decisions. So, but the customer service, second to none. I'm impressed.
The 2,000 frames, that's like a pallet, probably, right?
Yeah, I think it not. I don't know what all they got on a pallet. I really don't know. So, but keep in mind. So I bought 2,000 frames for the boxes. I bought 200 more boxes, but I have some more coming for my nukes as well. So the nukes that I sell, and I have more frame coming for my 6-frame mating nuke. So there's 30 of those. So there's still a bunch of foundation to come yet. So hopefully that,
more foundation coming.
Correct. Yep.
That'll be. I think he did give me a price. One of the guys over there gave me a price. Let's see.
So no, I'm just using Premier's foundation. I'm using. Well, here's the interesting part. So the frames that I put together today are from Dancing Bee, but we've got a local manufacturer that's starting up here in town. And I got a couple.
What's that, Old McNally?
No, it's not. It's not me. No. But I got a couple of his frames, and his profile is just about identical to that of Dancing Bee. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but I mean, you can pull something from up here, say Lewis and Sons or Dancing Bee or Bee Made. They're all pretty much the identical profile. So that was the first thing, because going with an extraction line, it's something that I wanted to watch. But he's making his frames up here out of fur, which is interesting, and they're the same price. And when you look at them, they are a much, much, much better quality. So I'm interested to get an order from him and see how they go together and see how they hold up. Because if I can, fir now all of a sudden is probably going to stand up a whole lot better than spruce or pine, right? Which most of it I think is built out of pine. But I just don't know. Anytime you go to a new supplier, you don't know what they're going to be like in the hive, say next year, or when you go to hammer them together or staple them together, are they going to split? These are the things I don't know yet.
That's Doug fir, right?
That's Doug fir. Yep. Your thoughts, Charlie? Your thoughts on using fir?
I'm not real. It stinks when you saw it.
Well, and I don't know what the bees are going to think of it. I've never used it inside the hive. Oh, and here's the other thing. He dropped off a box. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Charlie.
It's got a real fine grain, I guess you would call it. It's red compared to. I mean, most frames that I see are made out of white pine,
right?
I think, or spruce, or something that's.
A softwood,
it has to be
right?
relatively free of knots and everything.
Yeah. So he dropped off a box as well.
And the box is all dovetailed that he's making. And initially, when I looked at this box, my initial thoughts were, man, that is a beautiful box, like absolutely beautiful box. Until I got a little bit closer to it, and it's like, uh-oh. So he built them out of 3/4 inch material, which, as we all know, fits nothing when you're trying to mix boxes back and forth between 3/4
Yeah,
inch
he didn't go
boxes and 7/8
Canadian on
boxes.
that. That's odd.
You know, and I think he's going to have a hard time trying to sell those now. I hope he didn't make a whole bunch, because if he did, man, you guys have got some really good boxes coming your way, because they don't fit anything up here.
He ought to know that.
Well, he's not a beekeeper, he's a woodworker.
Mm.
So, you know, did he look online? Like I say, his dovetail joints and everything. Oh, absolutely gorgeous craftsmanship, incredible box. But you know, the handles and everything. I was going to say, I think I'll even go online and saying it's one of the nicest boxes I think I've ever seen, and everything fit together just so nice. But it's 3/4 inch. It's useless to me.
LaGrange wants a link to the store. Is that Dancing Bee or?
That's Dancing Bee. Yep. So if you can put
I
Dancing
looked at
Bee
Dancing
link,
Bee and I click on the English, but it doesn't have the same products as the Canadian side does.
Probably based on their suppliers, or I don't know.
aren't you a distributor for Dancing Bee, Bob?
I am kind of. I get some things from Dancing Bee, but it's you know, they've got another guy that's bigger than I am, a little bit north of me, that they're kind of directing me to buy my stuff at the discounted price through him.
Oh yeah.
But some stuff that he don't carry, I can still get from him, but I just call him direct. I don't have a price list, you know, per se. Like those Saracel cups that I got another dozen of them in over here. So order away, people, if you want the Mike cups from Saracel, or the pickle jars, whatever you want to call them.
There you go.
But I'm looking at the commercial pricing for Premier, and they've got assembled frames, and then they have foundation only. But are the assembled frames with the foundation in them?
I don't know. What's the price?
For assembled frame deep, single wax is $274, double wax is $304. But still, if you need 300, that's $1,000 any way you go.
Oh yeah, I've you know, it's interesting because just what you kind of saw sitting in my shop, there's you know, to go where I'm going and do what I'm doing right now, I'm approaching the $20,000 mark sitting in the garage there right now. So
it's easy to run up that deal.
well, you stop and think, you know. I think last time I was talking to Ian, I think he was saying the average loss in the U.S. for the bees coming out of the like from inside the bee barn was about 30%. So even at 30%, you know, I went in with 78. I've lost 76. Call it 75. If I lose 30%, easy math. Say I've got 50 hives, you know, that come out of the barn. I'm going to need 50 boxes to drop on them within, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. From there, I'm going to split them. It goes another 50 boxes right there. You know, that's 100 of my 200 boxes. I haven't even thought about the honey flow yet. So, you know, there's Lisa. But, you know, so I'm trying really hard to make sure I do not run out of equipment this year. That was something that really hindered me last year.
Right. Well, the foundation single wax is $1.08 for a deep. $1.88 for a medium single wax. And that, single wax, if you're going to put your own wax on it anyway, then
Yep.
it's not bad.
I don't know. Like I said, they definitely smell like beeswax this year, where they didn't last year. So I don't know if they did something. Well, I know they did something different. So talking with the guys down at Hive Life, one of the things that
Sounds like to me that they sent you frame or a foundation that wasn't waxed at all.
Well, no, it clearly said double wax or heavy wax
I
on
mean, the box might have said that, but it was packed wrong with the wrong stuff.
Possibly, but one of the things that they said down at the Hive Life is what's happening now is all of the frames that they are sending to Canada are being waxed with Canadian wax. So they've did some kind of a deal. Now, I had to buy my foundation, my Premier foundation, through their distributor, which was Dancing Bee. So, and I do believe Mike actually sent down the wax to be used on coating these frames. So I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know, but I know that was all part and parcel of everything at there too. So what's silver? Oh, good luck, James. Yeah, you're not kidding, yo. Yeah, and I was trying to do some calculation actually with the wife this morning. You stop and think, 200 boxes, 2,000 frames sounds like a lot this year, but that's not even going to be anywhere close. Next year I'm going to need at least double that. So
You better start earlier.
yeah, you're not kidding.
Now, Premier, that's not what's the newest? Is that the one that Greg Burns is hooking up with?
Yeah.
Perma, whatever, they changed their name or something. Pura.
But that's Premier. Yeah.
I wrote a check last night for foundation, and my wife was just going. You know the feeling, don't you?
No, actually, I don't. I got an incredibly understanding wife, and most of the time she's a bookkeeper, accountant, individual. So by the time I'm doing it, she's already crunched the numbers, and she's looking at me. She says, "It makes sense. Just go do it." All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, James, but I find you to be quite a good manager, and
you crunch the numbers.
He might crunch the numbers and all that, but he's got it's all being done. You know what you need. You're getting your pallets, you're getting your woodenware, you got everything lined up and all.
And I'm doing it right the first time. I'm not taking any shortcuts.
And then you're able to, build them bees up in splits, and you're filling the boxes and that kind of stuff.
If you're gonna do it right.
Well, do it once, right?
Yep. Because you don't want to go back and do that many again.
But next year he'll have to split those, so you have to double up again.
Well, and by that time, if I can double up again at not next year, but the year after that, well, I could probably afford to do it full time then.
How many hives you figure that you would have to do it full time?
Well, I haven't crunched all of those numbers yet, but I think it would be approaching between 450 and 500.
I guess what I'm often thought about is like, you say, let's say 500 boxes or bees, and I'm thinking about that versus Ian Stepper doing it 1,500 bee boxes, and I'm looking at, is it just, is it at 500 boxes? How much honey you figure you're going to bring in?
Well,
100-pound hive.
At least 100 pounds of hive, times 500, so that's 50,000. What is that? 50,000?
50,000.
Yeah, 50,000 pounds.
50,000 pounds.
That's a lot of honey.
You know, and like I say, the other part is I'm really concentrating on my nukes. So I was talking to some of the people that got my nukes last year. So and a couple commercial guys that have approached me and says, you know what, they'll take every nuke I can make. Now, if you guys remember, I had a pretty big complaint last year on my nukes, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody was complaining my nukes were too strong. So that's a pretty good complaint to have. So,
Sounded like to me you could be a nuke producer more so than a honey producer.
well, why can't you do both is my question.
True. I mean, how many nukes you figured you could drop on the market? Like 500, 1,000?
Everybody's always screaming for bees up here, you know.
So it's an infinite, and then you could have 1,000 nukes you could sell a year and still not have enough.
I agree. I think that's exactly where you'd be. Yep. So
That's a lot of bees. Now, these commercial guys, what's the deal with them? Why aren't they producing their own, being self-sustainable?
that
They don't have the help? Or?
No. Well, it's interesting. So Ian talks about that lots, right? And maybe it just goes back to honey producers versus beekeepers. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Ian, if you watch him, he's got carry, but what I'm getting at is he has his honey production line, and then he has his nukes, his battery, whatever you want to call them, his insurance hives. And he's learned to make his queens to where he's not buying anything. He's totally self-sufficient and all that. It's sound like to me that the other guys have did it one way and this is it. We're not doing it any other. We're not going to get into all this other stuff. Maybe they don't have the help. Might not have the help. Who knows?
Well, I know something like a couple of the big guys up here every year they they hire 10, 12, 15 workers to help them out. And currently I don't want to get into that. I want to know what I can handle by myself, what I can do by myself, and go from there. But,
Yeah, but trying to find help, like they say, 15 people, that's not an easy business.
They bring in foreign workers.
Is that right?
So, and like I said, what's that?
From the States, we crawl under the fence and jump over the wall.
Not from the States. Canada. I hate to say it, but
Or is it the French?
Is it south of our border as well?
It is. So, and like I say, each to their own. I mean, whatever works for them. I just assume not get into that. That's all.
Hey, Michael, you can get them for $129 from Man Lake if you get the commercial frames. I don't know that there's that big. Is there that big a difference between a commercial frame and a regular frame when it comes down to wooden frames?
The frames I don't find so much. Now, it depends where you're getting them from. So I buy the commercial frames. I'll be honest with you.
So is there knots in them?
I was going to say I have bought some where the grain is going, let's say, not the best, or you go to staple them together and the staple will shatter the board or split the board apart. So it's not very thick to start with. So you want something that's going to be a pretty good product, so it's not coming apart inside the hive, or coming apart inside your extruder. Will be looking for. I think the easy loader is the way to go. It's a lot of money. Now, you got guys like Charlie and Ian are trying to let me know, what is it, a humblebee or
Hummerbee?
Hummerbee.
It's an articulating rough terrain forklift.
Yep.
Designed for bee work. But the problem with that thing is it's at least 40-some thousand.
Well,
depending
so
on
is
what.
the easy loader, right?
I
My
mean,
concern is this: if I'm a single operator, of which I'm designing everything to be around, how do I get that to and from the apiary plus my truck? You know,
well, you have to have a trailer.
so
I
put a
mean, you have to
trailer
have
on.
that now, don't you? You got a John Deere tractor. You got to have a trailer.
I have a trailer, and that's the problem I have right now. So I need a second truck, one to haul the B trailer, and one to haul the tractor.
Right.
That's not a single person job. All of a sudden, right?
No,
You
what
don't want to be making two trips.
you have a pickup truck with a trailer, and you need a truck with a trailer.
So, well, a
So you
flatbed.
need a
You know,
flatbed truck, and a trailer behind it. But then you're talking about a bigger rig, and I don't know what your road DOT guys up there are like. You know,
so there's a store near Montreal that has a license to make easy loaders. Would be cheaper than ordering from Australia. I'd love to know who that is. You know, I don't know if you can drop that in the link, or send me a link, or something. I know there's a distributor actually was down at Hive Life. They're just outside of Winnipeg, but they order everything from Australia. So
Yep.
you know, now I you won't find me say this too often, but I've actually been trying. I know there's a Chinese knockoff of the Easy Loader, and I've been trying to find some information on that. I get a little bit antsy anything you get something from China, because it's not going to last. But I'm just trying to take a look at all the options.
yeah. Um, I don't know. You've been using a farm tractor with a front end loader, right?
Yeah, I bore right now. What's interesting, because as everybody knows, I moved into the city just a little over a year ago. Up until then, we were on an acreage, and I had the tractor, and I had the land, and I had the truck, and but of course, when you move into town, you don't bring any of that. And if I would have made the decision to go full time into sidelining and stuff like that a year earlier, I would have had all of that stuff. So that's the hard part. And I did have a nice John Deere 755 tractor, um, but I'll be honest with you, I always found that a pain in the ass to haul it around too. So um, I don't know. I don't know what the honest answer is. That's part of the reason I'm leaning towards the easy loader. One truck, one piece of equipment, but that's the downside. Is if you lose the truck, you lose everything. So
And if
if
you
it's
get
not,
that truck just like Leon, he's always getting stuck.
Yeah, they're heavy.
It's like Brad said, where his loader can go out there and then ferry it back to the truck on the side of the road.
yeah,
Now,
there's
the easy
there's no
loader, I mean, you got to get it's like an easy loader or a skid loader. They make a trailer. It's a low profile trailer, where it sits lower to the ground, which instead of like a deck over trailer, it sits up high in the air.
right.
And, you can get it around.
The only way to do it with one man is easy loader. Like with the tractor, you still got to break them boxes open. It takes two men.
And
The only
that's why
that's
I
the
was
only
kind of
way.
leaning towards the easy loader, right? It's
Yeah, to,
you
to
know
do any
it
number of hives anyway.
and an easy loader on the back of a nice flat deck truck, 1-ton truck, or 5-ton truck or something like that. So
You're
I'm
gonna have to
looking
have at
at
least. You're
all of
gonna
it.
have to have at least a 550 or something
Exactly.
bigger than that, maybe. You got
Yeah.
to have one like Ian,
So
But now Ian's stuff is also 4-wheel drive.
correct. Yeah.
I'm not sure where he's getting all that from.
Yeah, it's another 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. But
Yeah. They do have the trailer mounted easy loader. That's what they had down at Hive Life. I don't know if you were down there. It's no cheaper though. Really, it's If anything, it's more expensive because you're buying the ease loader and you're paying for the trailer. So
Yeah, that's, I don't know, that if you're going to have 600 hives, that's trailer business is not the way to go with the easy loader.
so
But
Yeah, James, you're going to get to a point you're going to have to do something.
it's coming. It's coming
Yeah.
sooner than later.
Yeah, you're going to get to the point where you're going to have to spend some money
So
for sure,
well,
some serious money.
exactly. I was going to say I'm doing that now, but the check that I'm going to have to write is probably going to have to be a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, it's going to be real serious. Sure is.
and my friend Lloyd, he has an easy loader. He bought it used, and it came with a trailer, of course. And I'm going to say he went out to Ohio and got it. There's a dealer out there, and of course he goes to the AHP, National Honey Producers Association,
Right.
and that's where where the commercial guys go.
Well, the one thing I can say is this, you cannot find a secondhand easy loader anywhere. So that's got to say something. I have looked all across the US, I have looked all across Canada. You cannot find an easy loader secondhand or used anywhere. So
Well,
What was the easy loader price?
you can look at it two different ways there. Most people don't like them. They go ahead with a Hummer-Bee or a
40
Bobcat or something like that.
It was I think it was 46,000, the one that was at the Hive Life conference, and I think that was 46,000 US. I did a bit of a video on it down there, so
Yeah, I got a video on it myself a little bit.
I could go dig up my my video, or if you went back and took a look at the video, I'm pretty sure he tells you what it's worth there.
What's it called? The motorized transporter that Gwen Gufford uses. Who's Gwen Gufford?
He's one of the guys from the UK. The problem is you might be able to get those things, but then you got the freight and shipping and everything from overseas. Not only that, but you got the duties and taxes and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Brad this morning, and I I'm still running into supply chain issues up here. Let's without getting into mudslinging, let's just say supply chain issues. So I've got to figure that out. That is one of my biggest hiccups here right now. So what it's leaning towards is I'm having to drive to go get it all anyways. So, like Brad was saying, make a trip over to see him and maybe see him and Ian once a year and pick up what I need once a year and bring it back. So that might be the cheaper freight and solve my supply chain issues. I don't know.
What would you buy from them? Like pallets or what?
Well, there's Lewis and Son right over by Winnipeg. Dancing Bee is right there in Winnipeg as well. So, I mean, I could go over, load up my truck and trailer, and and probably have everything that I would need for the next year, right? So, Thank you for that address. I'm going to check in on those guys here, probably either later on tonight or tomorrow for sure.
Oh man, what time is it? It's only 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we got another hour to go.
Another hour to go. You know what? When I didn't have any money, land was cheap. And then when you get some money, it's like everybody knows it and jacks the price up of everything.
You just think you got money now because you got a little jingle, but when you get out there and look, you really ain't got no money.
That's exactly what I'm figuring out.
Yeah.
So back a few years ago, I was looking for land, right? Just acres, few acres. And you could get it for $3,000, $3,500 an acre. Now it's $10,000 an acre. And it's like, okay. That's squashing my dreams.
What up in Up in West Virginia, you mean?
No, here, $10,000 an acre.
That ain't nothing.
I was going to say that's what it was. That was the price up here probably 5-10 years ago. So
That's,
Try about, if you want a lot around where I'm at, figure $100,000.
oh, I don't need a lot. I just need a little.
Just a 2-acre lot's like 100,000. It's 100,000.
2 acres down here cost you about 20 grand. And that's before closing costs and all that. I mean, that's what they're asking, right? If you take cash, you might be able to get a little bit better, but
That's with nothing on it.
yeah. Well, that's what
Yeah,
I'm-
but we're talking about a building lot just
Yeah.
for your house, $100,000 where I live,
Mm.
and then build another mansion on top of it. You know,
well, and then the lot is full of trees, right? So then you got to get cleared and everything. So, yeah. So that's
56 acres for 24.4.
where's that at?
Silver Gorilla, where's he?
Texas.
There you go.
No,
Everything's bigger in Texas, though.
Yeah, but Texas has nice areas and it's got freaking desert too. So you could
and
buy
it's hot. And it's hot.
desert land in Texas full of rattlesnakes.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Go out to check your bee colonies and out in the middle of nowhere and get zapped by a rattlesnake. That'd be fun.
We got rattlesnakes here. What are you talking about?
You got them up there?
Yep.
I don't have. Well, we do have them here, but not like here. I've never seen one here on my property before.
Yeah, we got the Diamondbacks up here. The Diamondback rattler up here.
Yeah, Brad, I'm about 50 miles where Joe lives.
I would have bought that 56 acres, paid for it. Then I would have went and leveraged part of it for for a home build, right? And then the other part would have been Apiary City if it would have been nice. But I don't know about moving to Texas.
But there again, Bob, you can only get so many hives on one place.
Yeah, but with 56 acres, I could have that corner over there is an apiary. That corner over there is an apiary. But right now, I mean, I'm running out of space for bees here.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm very fortunate up here. Is born and raised in the community around here. I know enough people. Just about any farmer will let you drop 40 hives in the corner of one of their quarter sections, and not even blink an eye. So I'm extremely fortunate for that up here.
And so in West Virginia, you can get 5 acres for $11,000, but it's like that, right? And may not have road access. Might be landlocked by other people's properties.
Well, if it had timber on it and you could get the timber out, it'd be worth it for sure.
So it's
You can have the state of West Virginia. That's about the poorest state in the union.
it's true.
I thought we would.
You thought you were.
You're in Tennessee, ain't you?
Yeah.
I take that that trophy here because our dollar ain't worth nothing.
Well,
But
you
it
don't
costs
get
more to
your-
make $1 than it's worth.
We don't even call it a dollar anymore. We call it a loony. And as it gets more, as it goes up in value down there, that's $2. Here we just call it a toonie. It just gets funnier. Quack, 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 quack.
Yeah.
Let's see. The guy who bought it will develop. Oh, lost one of his bee yards to that sale. Yeah, I mean, Texas definitely has cheap land. Colorado's got some cheap land too, but also if it's in the desert, there's nothing for bees to forage out there, really. I guess they could go cactus hunting or whatever, tumbleweed. Well, we got tumbleweed honey. So, I don't know. Let me
When the Looney came out, well, it's not worth any more now.
What is? I mean, is it actually? What's it? Just a slang word or what?
No, it's a.
Oh no, they literally
Golden
call it.
coin.
It's a loony. So our dollar is it's a coin, and the coin actually says loony on it. Like it's
got a loon on it.
It's got a loon on one side.
Which is a bird?
It's yeah. So you see them around the lakes and rivers and streams. The call of a loon, you know.
Let's see.
About like a merganser.
So with the coin dollars, I mean, what's that? What they were trying to do them to for coin machines or something?
Who knows? You know?
I mean, they tried that, the Susan B. anti-dollar and all that. The coin operated machines, those guys were like pushing that because they wanted, you know, where you could just drop a
Coin in
that
it.
in there, and it just never went over.
Yeah, well, they did up here, but anyways, like you say, a loony and a toonie. You know, we don't have pennies anymore. That's non-existent up here. So I think they're trying to do away with the nickel now too.
So they can charge you more. Yeah, I can't find anything. Not anywhere I want to be at, anyway.
What are you, land shopping?
Yep. Land shopping. We'll see. I felt like if I could find some old farmland that nobody's using,
Got her.
that I could pick up a couple acres. Not like 100 acres, you know, just a couple acres, literally 2 or 3 acres, and that's it. But yeah. Probably
So
not.
if you're still feeding your bees, Charlie, when does your flow start over there? When do you start getting nectar flow?
End of the month, maybe 1st of April.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the maples have popped. I mean, I've seen the maple bloom or whatever you call it laying on the ground.
Good night, Lee.
And nightly. And there's a little bit of nectar coming in there, not a whole lot. And they're bringing some pollen in. But now, like today, yeah, it's 50 degrees today, but the wind was blowing 30 some miles an hour. I mean, I was getting some of that storm what Mark got, and we were batting down the hatches with our big doors and stuff. And it's supposed to calm down. Next week, it's supposed to be all in the 50s. It's been, you know, a roller coaster here for the last several weeks. It's you might get into the 50s today, and no, it was like Friday. It was, I don't know, it was like 40s. It was high 40s, but it was that moisture was in the air, and it was damp and raw and cold, and it just hasn't not been, you know, the weather hasn't, you know, we had one day here last week, maybe 72, you know, and it was nice, you know, but that was one day. 2 days later was snow and flurries.
That's about what we got, Charlie. About the same deal. It was real pretty that one day, and then everything started popping out, and then that wind and rain, and it just washed everything that was out is gone. About today, all they worked was them little purple flowers on the ground. And I've got plums and everything out there bloom, but it just blowed them off, completely off the tree. Yeah.
Well, we didn't have the severe wind like you got, but we did get some rain, not much. I mean, no real huge downpours, but it rained. I think it was last night, a pretty good amount. And, you know, just kind of made everything just kind of wet, and nothing like, I think it was Tim out there in Ohio where, you know, he had gotten several inches. We didn't get anything like that, but it's just been raw and cold and a roller coaster, and you know, we're just kind of hunkered down and haven't really changed anything yet.
That's March,
you know, and it'll be, if things get better, it usually is at the end of March is when I'll, you know, take the covers off the hives behind me there, and then get into them where I'll pull that bottom box off and then drop everything down and put a queen, go through them and then put a queen excluder on and put a honey super on. Now, as far as honey coming in, no, it'll be, some guys said put 4 boxes for what? I said, it doesn't really kick in until mid-April or so. May is our big source. And by the end of June, we're done.
Yeah.
April, May, and June. That was pretty much it. So I don't know. We're just sitting here waiting. And I don't know, I had one lady order 3 nukes and now, I started getting some emails from her. I'm like, okay, something's going on here. First it was, when are you going to have the nukes ready? I said, around April is all I know. I mean, depends on the weather. And, then it was like, well, how much? Well, I thought, that should have been the first thing you should have asked. And then it was like, okay, you want 3 nukes, $600. And then I got an email. I guess it was today or yesterday. I guess it was yesterday. Cancel. I don't think she knew what the hell she was buying.
Well, no, they figure they can get bees quicker by buying them out of Florida or somewhere like that, right? And
yeah.
They don't know what they're getting, and they just.
I don't know. I had some other couple that wanted boxes of bees, and I emailed them back, said, hey, I got some stuff available if you want it. So I'm feeding them. I mean, I fed them really good last fall, and I was surprised that they burned up a lot of their food. But now my 10 framers seem to be fine. Now I haven't been in them I haven't looked at all of them for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I looked at them about 3 weeks ago, and they had 6 to 8 frames of honey in there in the top box. So they should be fine. I looked at a couple of them in the middle of this week, whenever it was sort of warm in the middle of the day, and they still had a fair amount of hunger, quite a few frames. I didn't have time to kind of go through the top box a little bit. As far as opening them up and, popping boxes off, no, I haven't done it. I'm not doing any of that.
I just picked the top box up off the big ones. If it's real heavy, I pulled a couple honey frames out and moved them over to my little ones. About all I've done, really. Just fed the little ones that way.
Well, like I say, I had some fondant left over, which I don't like, and I got rid of all that. I got rid of all the pollen patties that I had for the last, I think they were at least a year old, maybe close to 2 years old. And some of that is starting to dry up. They're not going to eat it, but natural pollen has been coming in for a month on and off when they could get out and fly.
Yeah.
So they're not touching that when it comes to natural coming in. And so I got rid of that. And so I'm just kind of, waiting at a holding pattern, I just don't want anything to starve. So to me, it's like, okay, go down and make some, you can take a, whatever, $15 bag of 25-pound bag of sugar and make a bunch of bricks. And, I only got 3 or 4 weeks, and things should be starting to move if the weather starts kicking in.
What's your forecast for the next 2 weeks look like, Charlie?
The next week, it's all going to be in the 50s during the daytime.
Right. 50s, 30s at night, 40s at night.
I don't remember exactly what they said. Right now, it's 37 degrees. And let's see. Now they say tomorrow is going to be in the 60s, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right at the 50 mark. Wednesday's like 47. The rest of the week is either high 40s, really low 50s, in the 40s and 50s.
We're real close. Real close. I think the next 3 or 4 days we're supposed to be warming, and it's supposed to level off the 50s for another week or so.
All right, I'm looking at the map right now. It's a a month forecast, I'll call it. Next week, it's going to start out in the low 50s and then level off right at mid 40s during the day. But, you're talking 30s at night,
Yeah.
like 28 degrees and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And
Still way too early.
Yeah, the following week is kind of the same thing, 40s and 50s during the day and 25 to 30 degrees at night. And it pretty much goes on all the way to the end of the month, which high 50s, close to 60 during the day and still in the 30s at night. And
it may be later than what you think, especially for me, since these storms and stuff blew all the pollen and stuff off. That didn't help a bit.
Yeah, well, they're predicting April. April, you'll get into the 60s during the day. And you're still in the 40s at night, which is about right. Mid-April, around the 15th or so, you're going to be like 66 and 44 at night, 45.
That's when it'll get good right there.
And then at the end, when you get into May, it'll be in the 70s during the day and 50s at night, something like that. I don't think they can really tell that far out.
Nah.
And all that stuff. So,
it's not supposed to go above. Well, it's going to be negative double digits in Celsius up here for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So, I'm not doing anything anytime soon.
No.
I don't usually plant a garden or nothing till after Easter anyway.
Well, it's like last year. I sold my nukes the week of Easter weekend. It was the first week they didn't have a ton of rain, and it was actually warm and decent, and the rest prior to all that was cold and wet. And I told my brother I had to take off from the mill for like 4 days there to get these darn nukes and stuff out the door. And I had some other, another person that asked me to do such and such because they were in the military at the time. And I'm like, I really don't have time for all that. But I got a little bit better plan on working with my nukes, to use a queen excluder to isolate the queen and all. And that way I got it in my mind how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the frames out that I want to go out in that nuke box, in that paper box, and a queen will be isolated by using a queen excluder. I bought a bunch of them down at I actually ordered them from Rossman apiaries, fit the nukes. And so hopefully that'll work out for me. And I'm going to see how stressful it is. Everybody said, oh, there's quick money. Yeah, it's quick money, but there's a lot of stress behind it too. For me, it is anyway. Last year it was. If I can reduce the stress on me, the beekeeper, the bees, and all that, then I'll keep doing it. If it's as bad as it was last year, I'll heck with the darn nukes. I'll just use them for myself. But my plan is to put the queen excluder in between the two boxes, have the queen above, along with all the frames that I want her to have to go out the door. And the queen excluder, they can equalize themselves naturally. They can cool themselves naturally. If it's back then, it was like 95 degrees during the daytime. It was hot and humid, and I lost some boxes of bees that I shipped because I put too many bees in them boxes. Helping a friend out type of thing. And that way, with the queen excluder, I can let them equalize themselves. And it's a system. I like a systematic way of doing things.
Oh, I think I just found maybe my next purchase.
What's that?
I just sent it to Bob. I don't know whether you can bring that up. Oh, hell yeah.
So that's what I'm planning on. We'll see. The nice thing about honey is that I can bottle it on my time and I can sell it at my pace. And all I have to do is hand it over to the customer, take his money, and then off they go.
Right.
You know. Who was that? Violet Thor.
I got to email it to myself.
I don't think I have your email, do I?
You should. I've sent you emails.
Oh, you probably went straight to the junk folder.
Probably.
Well, let's see if I'll see if I've got it.
If it'll paste the damn text now, would be nice. There we go. Send.
Oh, that's why I don't have email on my phone.
What's a isotope production facility?
All right, so let's present, share screen. I guess, yep. Share that one. Oh, damn. Hold on. Stop share screen. Present screen. Share screen. Yep.
This will save me a lot of time.
Well, I got to add it to the damn stream. There we go.
You know what that is?
That's it.
Wax roller. You just run the sheets through there.
Yeah, watch this. That is so the way to go.
Where's that? China?
No, I don't know.
That'd be easy to build.
It would be.
But how much wax? It doesn't look like there's that much wax on it coming out the other side.
You can just get you some paint rollers to do that.
Of course, what's it like when it cools down?
I think, well, that's just right. That looks all right. Oh, that one looks a little like I missed half of it. Huh. Oh, yeah, China. Well, it was a good idea right up until that.
But they've got a lot of different things over in China.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, like Bob said, how about if you got yourself some rollers with some paint, you know, nap on there and then
And just drive it through.
Made a tank like they had, you know, maybe have a little pump, putting the wax over the top or something. I don't know. Of course, you have to have it hot.
Well, I think that's the key is they need to be, you know, it needs to be hot wax and the rollers would have to be, they'll be hot. I agree, especially. Okay.
That's a good idea, especially for what you're doing, for the amount of stuff that you're doing.
Well, I mean, you would have all 2,000 done in no time, right?
Half as fast as you could roll them through.
Exactly. Feed them in and go.
Well, if you went in there and got them,
the other side, stacking them up,
So,
you shooting them through, go through quick.
you figure if you bought just the foundation itself, non-wax, you could save the money there.
Well, I don't know what the price is on that thing, but I guarantee my little bottling line is Chinese, and that thing has made more money. I mean, it's been worth its weight in gold, you know.
Yep.
It makes it so much easier. I can do hundreds of bottles quicker on the lure. Cheese sticks. Yeah, we had Papa John's. I had a buffalo chicken pizza.
But yeah, in your situation where the amount of stuff that you're doing, you could buy just foundation waxless and do it yourself that way.
Chocolate fountain from Hobby Lobby would do what you're talking about.
There you go. Well, you got to remember, like I said, this year it's 200 boxes. Next year it's probably going to be 400. Like, so
Yeah.
that's a lot of foundation to wax, right?
Those are good problems. Well, it's kind of like you have to sell that honey to pay for that stuff, right? So it's got to
Honey or nukes, and that's why I'm growing the way I am, right? So
Yeah, but you figure if you bought the foundation with no wax, you got it cheaper.
correct.
And then, of course, you're going to have your own wax, which, I mean, I think that's pretty easy for you. And I would say the savings in the non-wax foundation and sales of nukes and whatever else that you're selling, it would probably pay for it in 1 year, depending on how much that thing cost.
Exactly.
well,
But
let's just see how much it is. Benefit B. Resume my journey. I've been there before. We will resume my journey. Oh, I was looking at JZBZ cells. What is that thing? That is a beekeeping machine. What is beekeeping machine?
Right here.
I am the machine.
Come on, Mark. That's the first time I really seen you laugh.
Yeah. You
They
hit the nail on the head, though.
Full waxing.
You're right.
machine. Oh, you have to get a quote. 220-volt power supply.
Well, that's easy enough. You know, that's a funny thing. I was looking at some of this used equipment, and we were talking about it before. 3-phase equipment makes 0 sense for I'm going to say 90% of the people out there. I don't even know why you would make 3-phase beekeeping equipment.
Hey, they're up. Was Sunday in China, right? Or is it Monday in China already? Sunday. It's only 1 day difference around the world, right?
Has everybody gone to wax foundation? My bees hate it, but for sure the most economical. You know, I've really had, aside from them not drawing out the foundation last year, they really haven't been that much of a hiccup at all.
Well, no, he's talking about regular wax foundation.
Oh, I see.
No, yeah, I'm not going to wax foundation.
I run wax, and it's probably about as cheap to run plastic as it is wax.
Well, I mean, you still got the wood frame cost, right? Then you got the wax foundation. So,
Well, you got to figure in the wax has got to be wired and all that, you know. So
You know, one thing that I did find today is Alan and Sheldon brought over a 1/2-inch stapler today. Man, is that nice to put boxes together. It pulls those boxes in so nice and tight. That's something I'm going to have to invest in.
Oh, the 1/2-inch wide
1/2-inch
crown.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, a friend of mine, that's what he uses when he's putting boxes together. And you got to have it, I think it's 1.5 inches deep.
We were using 1/2-inch crown, 16 gauge, 2-inch staples.
2-inch staples, yeah.
They're never coming apart. You know, glued and then stapled on every joint. Man, yeah, they're
$2,600. Is that yen or is that American dollars?
Our actual order is 2,600.
2,600 US.
Oh, I think I can build one of those cheaper than that.
Yeah. I would think so. All you'd have to do, get yourself an old Ringer wash machine and put some
just make it like a pea sheller.
We use those actually. I had one of those at the farm for the longest time. We use those as kid. we'd go hunting coyotes. We'd wash our coyote skins and then put them through the ringer before you put them on the board, stretch them all out. Man, that worked great. Got all the blood out of them.
All I have to do is put some felt, some kind of, like a sheet of felt and glue it to them rollers.
And away you go.
And then you could, pump some hot wax on there.
Well, I got a couple commercial, some old commercial banquet warmers that it's got, you plug it in, it's got a thermostat on it. It melts the wax quite well. So I don't think it would take much of anything to build something on top of one of those with a couple rollers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I got something over here. Oh.
So how's Carl doing tonight?
Not bad, Charles. Good to see you again.
Yeah, your microphone's working good tonight.
Well, that's good to hear. With my simple setup that I have.
It was cutting in and out and all. What do you got there, Mark?
That's a pea sheller. Could you make that work?
Oh, I never thought of that.
A pea sheller?
Yeah.
Yeah, for shelling peas. You drop it in and it pops the pea out of the shell itself.
Just on a little motor, you could do the same thing. I mean, can you see it?
Yep.
I'll give you an idea anyway.
We were talking about that in the shop today. I got so many of these things that you just had time that you could pop apart and develop and make, and you just need more time. That's all.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
good
the
luck
biggest
with that.
problem.
What? Good luck trying to get more time.
Yeah.
I
Good
don't
luck
think
with
that's
that.
going to happen.
No.
Why is it when you get older, you got less time?
I don't know. I kind of think
When
we
you're
get
younger,
a little.
time doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we usually get a little bit smarter too, and we try to work a little bit more efficient. And I think maybe because of that, we load up ourselves with more and we end up with less time. I don't know.
Yep. I don't either.
Time
That's the case.
is obsolete. At least for me, it's obsolete. It seems like I get to the weekend and I'm thinking, oh, you're going to do this, this, and this. If I get 10% of what I think I can do in a weekend, I'm doing good. It's a shame to say that, But,
Life happens.
Yeah, it's nonstop. The more you
So
do, you can't do enough.
So 2,600 US for that. Is that what they're saying, Bob?
That's what they're saying. 2,600.
Yeah, that seems a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
I think that paint roller is sounding really good.
Yep.
So James, I wanted to thank you. I've been building those 6-frame nukes and that, and a couple weeks ago you put on some show and tell with your bottom boards and stuff like that, and I'm starting to build them and that, and I got my dimensions figured out because you're working 7/8, I'm working 3/4. I have it so everything will work out really well with my measurements.
You will like that system, man. That was developed by Brad with Faith Apiaries over by Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yeah.
And oh man, I so like that system. Everything fits together. Whether it's the 6-frame nukes on the 3-way pallet or the 2-way pallets, they all link together. They go on the truck. Everything fits. Everything's like it's just so nice when something you find a system like that works and fits and it's interchangeable. It's amazing. So I'm glad I could help you out.
Yeah, no, I appreciated it, and I it's funny when you went out into your workshop and you were showing, and here I am on my phone taking pictures of the tablet and that real quick to make sure I don't miss anything, even though I can go back and look. Yeah, but I'm going to start building the pallets maybe even tomorrow. I was supposed to start today, but we had some company in that today, so.
So are you going to use American 3/4 inch stuff versus the 7/8?
Yes, I actually, Charles, what I'm doing is, because you guys know I'm real close to Man Lake, and I went over there and they have pallets of the they're not commercial, but they're streamline boxes, and I'm buying a box for $13, the 4 sides. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting down the 2 end boards to 10 7/8, and I'm cutting off the rabbit joint on one side, and I'm just toenailing it and gluing the hell out of it, and making them 10 7/8, and the 3 boxes together equal out exactly to where I could put 2 supers on top. And
Absolutely.
it's working out for me. I did all the measurements in that, and I worked them out. I built 15 of them so far. I have the wood out in my building right now to build another 15. I have an out yard already set up, one out yard already set up that I'm going to expand into, and I'm probably going to get another one set up in the next week or 2. That I'm going to be 2 different out yards. I'm going to get 20 more hives in each one of them. So I have 10 queens coming from Corey Stevens. I have 5 coming from Man Lake that I'm going to pick up, and Jose, I actually sent him an email about getting 5 queens from him, but I haven't heard back from him. And then I'm going to also I'm going to take another shot this year at queen rearing, like Bob's doing it this year for the first time. And congratulations, Bob, on those 2 the 2 that you have potentially queens coming. Hey, take 2. Take 2. I mean, I got to tell you, the first time I did, I think I got 7. And then the next time it was 0. The next time it was 0. Then I looked in there and I found out a virgin queen flew in, and I learned my lesson that way. And then the next year I did the cloak board, and I got 5 or 6, which was last year. And this year I'm going to go back and I'm going to build my own breeding box up in that and try that this year.
One thing I did is I put a queen excluder on the bottom. So I'm not really sure a version.
This year, Charles, to be honest with you.
Huh?
I'll do it this year, to be honest with you. So, to put that queen excluder on the bottom.
Yeah.
So I think we should all make a projection or a prediction here as to how Bob's going to do on his next graft.
Honestly, if he gets 3, he's doing good.
Absolutely, he'd be doing good. How many cells are you putting on the next one, Bob?
I'm going to do 21 again, just for having the same amount of queen. But there's some differences this time. It's not.
Going to put 2 bars.
It won't be. It'll be apples to oranges, right? So,
how warm is it supposed to be tomorrow, Bob?
73.
What's your humidity supposed to be?
Oh Christ! Let's see.
73.
There's somebody who's did some grafting before. all the right questions.
So right now it's 64%. Let's see what it's going to be tomorrow. If it'll show me tomorrow's humidity.
What's that got
Mark,
to do?
Keep talking, Mark. I'm looking for information.
What's the humidity? What's it got to do with that?
So the humidity and temperature's got a huge thing to do. Yep.
Well, I can't get tomorrow's humidity.
What was it today?
Well, if it was 60 today, it'll probably be close to that tomorrow.
It's 64 right now.
So
60.
You're doing good. I'd wait till about midday, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, let it warm up, and then so you're saying it's going to be apples to oranges. It's not going to be apples to oranges.
Well,
it's
a little
going.
I say that because all of these, I'm going to graft right back in these same cells that have already been.
You are gonna get rid of that 3rd bar and put all them cells on those.
Yeah. We're going to do that, but I'm just saying that we're going to use
that's a big difference.
We're going to use the same cups that they've already cleaned and
Polished. They say.
polished out.
What do you think about that, Mark? It's got. You think are they clean?
It ain't going. That don't matter.
All right.
I think it's just the fact that they've been polished. I think you're gonna do better.
And they've got a little bit of starter wax that they've put on there, right?
That they usually prime. They'll prime those if you leave them in the like if you leave them in overnight. You leave those cups in overnight. They'll do that overnight as they polish the cups.
For Charlie, I'm going to go ahead and move these right now.
Okay, Charlie, what's your prediction? Out of 21. Wait, I'm going to write this down. No pressure, Bob.
No, I don't. Hey, it's all on the bees. I did add more bees, right? So that's a plus.
But you're learning from what you did last time. That's awesome.
Right. And it'll get better. That second round's always better than the first one anyway.
Let's say 8.
I'm gonna say lucky 13.
13. Carl?
Yeah.
I was actually going to say the same as Charles. I was going to say 8, and you know what? If I was Bob and I got 8, I'd be proud of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
8.
it's a nice number out of 20. You know.
Out of 21.
And you're saying put all the cells close together.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get some more.
I think Mark's really close.
You're saying 13 as well?
That's what Mark said. I'm going to say 11.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
Carl, you want 8? I'll go 10. How about that?
Yeah, I was actually thinking 8, and the only reason I was thinking 8, and I'll be honest with you, is because what he just got. I mean, me personally, if I got 8, I'd be proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, I'd be proud of myself.
I'm pretty impressed that he's even trying it. So the fact that he got 2 the first time is absolutely awesome. The fact that he's doing it again. He's not getting anything discouraged. He's learned. He's made some changes. I think I'm going to go with. I was toying between 11 and 12, but I'll stick with 11. That's what I said. I'm going to stick with 11.
All right. So this is what we got. 21.
That's way better.
Nothing on the bottom. 21 at the top.
Right on.
So that's what we're grabbing.
Just be sure you put a queen excluder on that entrance somehow or another, because you've got virgins flying around out there in your yard.
Well, that's what happened to me, Mark, the first time I tried it. I mean, the first time I was pretty successful, and the second time was nothing. I'm like, third time we tried 3 days later, and I was like, nothing. And then me and the wife were out there, and I said, let's pull a couple frames and start looking. We had plenty of
There's the rest of them.
And then I pulled it, I said, what the hell is this? There's eggs in here. And that's when we started looking. I said, well, guess what? That turned into another hive real quick.
Yeah.
Because we have a short season here in Northeast PA. So I was like, well, we're done. We got lucky one time, and we're out now. We're not going to be able to go. It's too late in the season, you know? So I did learn that lesson.
What do you guys think, rather than putting a queen excluder on the bottom? If you have an old queen excluder, just cut it and put it on your entrance.
Yeah. If
Well,
you got an old plastic one, just cut it up and put it in.
Exactly.
Keep in mind, I've got that Lyson polynuke.
Right. That's right. You can slide that around, and it is a queen excluder.
Well, put it this way: a plastic queen excluder costs what? $5, $6?
Yeah, but he's got a license that has a slider thing on it.
Yeah. But if you don't have that, you might as well take a plastic one for $5, $6.
Now, what if there's some drones running around in there? They're stuck on the inside
They're
too.
stuck on the inside.
Who cares? Let them.
Well, you're shaking your bees and you're creating that
Exactly.
hive.
Exactly.
There they
That's
are.
exactly it.
So I did shake a couple of bees in there today.
You got pictures of it?
I did you one better, Charlie. We got a short, baby. Let's see. Share screen.
I'm pretty sure he thought I was nuts when I told him he needed way more bees and to keep shaking.
That was my first thought when I seen it. I'm like, he ain't got enough bees.
Yeah.
Well, it's already got bees in it. This was just extra bees on top of the bees that are already in it.
Oh, he's doing a march.
And yeah. And they all went in there, didn't they, Bob?
Yep, every one of them.
And
so I might have 2 drawn frames of foundation in there tomorrow because I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
I just took the feeder off and chucked the old syrup out and filled it up with fresh.
So what did you do, Bob? Pull some frames from other hives and just shake them on. What is that? A lid or something that you got there?
That's a bottom board from a 5-frame nuke that I just leaned up there and shook them on it.
And that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. And anybody watching
the march.
This is exactly, you need that starter finisher. You need it absolutely packed.
And
the
they're doing the march.
with the I took one of my colonies I wanted to split, and they had a bunch of frames of brood up in the medium. So that's 10 frames of medium brood that I shook into a pro nuke and then took them over there and banged them down in the bottom like a package and dumped them out on the landing board. And there was actually more bees than that. I couldn't get my videotape or my phone to record quick enough as they were running into the colony. So
Bob, can you take a photo of the the projections down there? So Flower Street Farms figure you're at 13. Robin Hood figures you're at 9.
They're doing the march.
Eugene thinks you're at about 19.
I don't know if I can. Can I screenshot that? You got the notebook. Write it down.
All right. Writing it down.
Carl, did you turn your sound off on the YouTube?
That's funny. Blaine was like $1, Bob. Like it's Price is Right. So let's see. We got polished cells or polished cups. We've got more bees. We've got less brood in the box. We've got no opportunity for them to make any additional queen cells. Because even though we knocked down the queen cells before, they decided they were going to make some more anyway. So
If you got a real good pollen frame in there.
yes, and they have pollen patty on them, and they have liquid syrup. Liquid
And
As long as you got a real good pollen frame right up next to them.
That's what you need. Yep.
so you say you have less brood frames in there, or what?
Yeah, so I had 2 brood frames or 2 frames of cat brood. One of them's hatched all the way out.
Well, that's good.
The other one is hatching, but it's
Good.
still in there. And then I dumped a lot more bees in there, right? So
Well, Bob, all I got to say is I appreciate you keep on talking about this, because there's one thing that a couple of years ago when I really got into this was everybody was saying, the big guys were saying, well, you got to breed your own queens. But the problem is to put show and tell on how to do it is very, very tough to do, because when you're talking about dealing with the larvae and stuff, it's so hard to film that and put it out there.
this is the hardest part. The hardest part is this starter finisher for me.
Yeah.
They're doing the
After
march.
that, the actual grafting process, not that difficult.
But getting that box,
Nurse bees out here.
work, right up to where it should be with
Yeah.
nurse bees and whatever. That's the hard one.
They're
Yeah,
doing
well,
the march.
the grafting too. Just like a couple weeks ago when I was on talking to everybody,
So I dumped a ton of
not
nurse
rolling
bees
that
out here.
larvae when you're pulling it out and putting it back
And-
into a cup and stuff like that. Just simple little
They're
things like
doing the
that.
march.
Tidbits. If people are paying attention, it's going to help all of us.
Well,
And,
and the
Ton
trick
of nurse bees out
you're,
here.
you're bang on, Carl. And the trick there is with that larvae, make
Yeah.
sure that the C is in the same
They're
orientation
doing the march.
in the new cup, right? So if you graft it and the C is this way, make sure
Yeah.
it's this way in the cup. You know, if it's this way in the bottom of the cup and it's opposite on your grafting tool and then opposite again back in your cup, you've rolled that larva over 180 degrees or 360 degrees.
Yeah, I
So-
believe what I read and what I've saw somewhere else is if you do that, then they drown because their breather is on that one side the way they were laying.
Correct.
Well, my question is, I mean, if you're using a Chinese grafting tool, I don't see where you should have that issue. It's when you're using a German grafting tool, you would have that issue.
Well,
You have the
being
problem with the Chinese grafting tool. If you push it down and all the way over to the frame or to the edge of the cell, you roll the larva when you get to the edge of the cell. You don't have to go that far. You're really going down. You're getting that tip just under the larva and then pick it up.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Don't push it down and then push it all the way over.
yeah, so I mean, I didn't pay once I saw the larva, it didn't matter to me which direction they were facing because I'm right-handed, right? So I'm taking it down. And the same way that it's on here, it's going in the cup, no matter which way it's facing.
Well,
Bob, pick them all up at the same way each time. Don't change it. If
Yeah.
that C's like this and you're going to the back of that C,
Right.
go under it, do them all the same way. Don't do one way and one the other way. Do them all the exact same way.
yeah, I mean, if that C's like that and you're trying to come this way towards it, no,
Right.
you always want to come from the back end, from the
Right.
back of the C or the back of the comma. And I guess I never took notice of that, James, as far as going in. You know, like you say, you just kind of go in and grab it and you lift it up out of there. Where I've never, I guess you might say, I've never scooted it all the way across.
The only reason I've watched people scoot it all the way across is, you know, I've taught a few people how to graft queens,
Yeah.
and you see the things, you know, and I probably did the exact same thing and never paid any attention to it, right? Until you're watching somebody else, it's like, and then you can see it because you're not focusing on trying to pick that larva up. You're focusing on what the student's doing, and all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, you know, here's what you got to do. And I always say, if you want to learn something, teach it, because they're going to ask you questions that you never ever thought of. And when you're sitting back watching something else, it's kind of like hindsight. It's always 20/20, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, then I have
No.
a question about
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
Using the Chinese grafting tool, you know, you have the plunger in that. The handful of times I've done it, probably 6-8 times trying it. When you do get under it and you pull that out, and when you go to use that plunger, you guys ever worry about pushing that and damaging the larvae from pushing it out with the plunger?
Take your time.
yeah, nice and slow.
I do,
That's
but I
the
mean,
part you got to take
here's
your
the problem
time right
is-
there.
Mark, here's the problem is I'm a 300-pound plus guy, and I'm not a bull in a china closet. I'm a dozer in a china closet.
Well, you're
so
talking
I'm
about, you ain't
used to-
talking about moving your body. You're talking about moving your fingers.
Just
I know,
take
I
your time.
understand that, but I'm so used to being like that guy that just blows things up. I don't go on a dance floor because I don't dance. I just roll people over because I run them over.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
I got
yeah,
this.
I watch Charlie dance. Man, anybody could do this.
Yeah. I actually, Bob's showing the
This
graphic
is a
tool there.
different one that I got. This is not the one I used last time, but it.
Yeah, but the main thing of it is when you're coming off the top, you lay that tongue down and you start bringing it up and pushing the plunger at the same time. And by the time you get that tip, it should be sliding off onto
Yeah,
the
you're just
bottom.
giving
of
it
the-
a bump.
Right.
Mhm.
And
I
that
actually
you don't
picked
bump
up
it.
a
Don't-
new tool
don't-
now.
don't bump it,
Right.
Carl. It
Don't
just,
touch the larva.
right. It's got
You're not touching the larva.
You slide off with the royal jelly.
Yeah, the
Right.
jelly's the key.
The jelly's
And that's
key.
the other thing is don't
don't try to graft a larva that is dry.
Yeah.
Now, when I say
Not
dry,
gonna work.
no royal jelly. So they probably aren't giving that larva the attention they should already. There's probably a reason for it.
Right.
Mhm.
That's when you
Buy the
need to
one-
go. You need to feed whatever you're grafting from then.
Right.
I mean, that's
'Cause
like
they're
I
not getting
tell
something.
like new beekeepers, I said, are the frames dry? And they're like, what are you talking about? I says, do you see any nectar in there? Or go into where the larvae are they swimming in a pool of jelly? Well, no. Well, I said they need feed.
Go find another frame because that's not the one.
Oh,
should
I mean, you don't
graft
want
in.
to. Yeah, I mean, what I'm getting at is if you're looking at the health of the colony,
Oh yeah.
those are signs to look at the health of the colony. If they don't have no jelly in there, you don't want that. You forget about grafting there.
What
Well,
what
see,
are you
this is what I'm
grafting?
talking about right here because, you know, I'm a late night guy. Put the kids to bed and then I get on YouTube and then I start watching videos and that. I don't consider read books. I do once in a while when I do read a book and that, and you get information and that. But when you start watching videos and stuff, when it comes to grafting queens, the videos just don't do justice. But the conversation that we're having right here, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I've already picked up a couple things just in the last 5 minutes in our conversation that give
good.
me some FYIs, what to go after and how, just procedures and stuff. You know, just listen to James and Mark and Charles and then you guys just talking about just little procedure things. I'm picking little things up.
Little techniques.
This helps. Yeah, this helps. Yep. So, you know, it's.
And now let me ask you this: with your
failed completely, but I mean, I want to get better to where I can do 20 out of 25 or something. Like
all right,
that.
while you're looking at while you're trying to scan, you know, with your magnification unit on, and you're scanning that frame and looking for the right age, you know, the right size and all that stuff.
Yep.
What are you doing with your grafting tool at that point in time? You got it stuck in your mouth?
That's one of the little tidbits. I actually do have a cup of water, and my wife won't.
No.
My wife is working on it.
You stick it in your mouth and suck on it.
You see, I will do that because, you know, I'm a little sick. I mean, I used to chew and I used to, you know, and
no,
I
you
didn't
don't.
just chew tobacco, I chewed cigars.
Don't chew any tobacco.
No, I wasn't doing that when I'm doing that, but I'm saying it doesn't bother me to stick it in my mouth or whatever. It doesn't.
But what I'm getting at is you take that blade or that, whatever you want to call it, the tongue.
Yeah.
And you put it on your tongue and you make it so it's wrapping around your tongue. You're making that blade curve. And it also, and your tongue will warm that blade, which in turn makes it more flexible. And then your saliva actually acts as a sticky substance to adhere to the not the larvae, but the royal jelly. But you want that tongue to be kind of on a curve, and your heat of your body, and then kind of like you can take your tongue and you kind of make things curl around it, you know, with your mouth. Well, that's what I sit there and I kind of let it hang out my mouth while I'm looking and scanning, and it'll have that, and that blade will be a little bit of a hook to it. So when you go down, it isn't a straight blade. It's actually got a little bit of a curve to it, and it'll slide across the bottom of that frame or that cell, and it'll pick that larvae up better, or pick up the jelly.
And I could see the temperature in that being plus, because the temperature will actually make it more pliable too.
Yeah.
So it'll make it easier to flow and movement and stuff like that, you know.
But
I don't put it in my mouth because I hate the taste of royal jelly.
Well, I don't eat the royal jelly.
I use hot water.
James,
I use hot water.
I use hot water, and I'll tell you the other reason is I forgot that I had the larva on there once, and I was like, "What the?" What the?
I don't know. I just
All right.
stick it on there.
Well, open
I-
open conversation. One night at a bachelor party, I made $172. You know how I made it? I ate a dozen night crawlers. All right, $172. So guess what?
I
That
thought you might have
Barbie-
ate something else.
I wasn't sure where that
Barbie
was
is not gonna
going.
bother me. Not one bit.
Now, Carl, do you know how to fix your reed where it's thinner? Thin it down with a piece of sandpaper.
We were talking about this, I think, 2 weeks ago. Well, I think I don't remember who it was, but they said that they actually stole their wife's file for their fingernail file.
Yeah.
And,
You know,
and it works.
And
it works well.
I have fine grit sandpaper, and I can always play around with that too.
Yeah, just back drag it. If you got like 1,000 grit sandpaper or whatever it is, back drag that tongue. If it doesn't do the thumb test.
It makes it a little rougher too, which helps kind of pick that royal jelly up.
To grab it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking this year.
That helped me out a lot.
At least I want to finish this season in the mid 60s, if not the 80s, if possible.
Well, and the other thing too, when you're buying those Chinese grafting tools, don't buy one. You
I
can
just
buy.
bought a 20 pack.
Yeah, I was gonna say buy the pack, and as you go through, you'll probably find like 2 or 3 that you'll like, and the rest of them you won't.
Yeah,
No,
that's
and-
the one where you get yourself a little bit of electrical tape and put that around the barrel. So that's market. That's your one that you want to use all the time
Yep.
and all that.
Well, y'all, I got to go. My battery's down to 11%. James, Carl, Bob, Charlie.
All right,
Nice
Mark.
meeting you, Mark.
Have a good night, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good one.
Let's try and
All
Talk
right.
to you later.
Well, yep.
trying to find the file for my little microscope cam.
It was a CD.
Yeah, who's got one of them?
Well, you had one.
I've
Oh,
got
wait.
a CD, but not a CD player on my computer.
Oh. So I got one of those. Maybe I'm a little old fashioned.
It's a Jusian.
I was thinking. I was looking. I know the one that Lee talks about, and I looked at it, and I looked at it. There's several other ones that look the same, but does it actually take video? Can you record video with it?
Yes.
Yeah, Lee brought it up on his computer. There are a couple nights, and because you can bring it up on there, then I think he said you could record it right from there.
Because I want to use that. Like I'm going to try to make it an instructional video where you have that microscope, and you can show that.
How it goes in, and
how it goes in and how you can scoop it up and then how to try to transpose it into the next cup.
What? All right, let's see if this works. See if I blow up my whole computer now.
Well, you're not freezing tonight, at least.
Oh, he fixed that.
and what was it?
I just updated the drivers to my network port.
Was that in your computer or the other thing?
It was in my computer.
Computer.
Yeah, it was just Windows had a update for it, which is funny because you would think that if there's an update, the old one was still working, so it wouldn't hurt anything, but it did. So,
Well, that was like when I was messing with the computers. Why it didn't do it automatically, but you had to go in there, and I can't remember. It was a key. They call it keys. Update the keys for the software. And what it was like if you had a flash drive, a new one, there was a key that Micro said it was approved for it to read that flash drive. But you had to manually update your computer software to search for those keys. Like the one lady said, well, it won't read my CD, my flash drive. I said, all right, go in there and update this. As soon as I did that, it's fine. Why they didn't do that automatically, I don't know. When they did automatic updates to all your stuff.
I'm gonna have to do this after we get off. But I was trying to allow, trying to see. Lee shows his camera on StreamYard, but I can't switch it while I'm in here, and I think you have to restart the software to do it. So I'm not worried about it. Right. But at any rate, it's lit up. It's getting power. It's working. So
that was
like it.
Like $20 or something.
$30, $29.
$30.
But
US. That's like $975 Canadian.
But that should really light up the larva. The problem is it's not very tall, right? The little stand. So
they make you can get it with a stand, but it goes up and down too. I think that was an option.
Did I miss it? What are you using that for, Bob?
This is a microscope. It does 1000x. So when you're grafting, you could actually watch on the screen what you're grafting from in there.
I gotcha.
Or James can watch what I'm doing. You're like,
well, and the other thing is, it's a really good to, if you wanted with that, I think you can check the larva in your grafted bar afterwards, right? And make sure you got a larva in each and every one.
So
pretty cheap for $30.
Yeah, $30.
$30.
Yeah, I wanted to get one to do a video with it. Like, show great. Seeing, like you were saying, you can't find videos that are really that good. Yeah. That would make a good video.
Yeah, I think you're right, Charles. I mean, it's.
My magnifying
if you look
glass
around, you can't find a video that shows much. Everybody.
You show the guy doing it, but you don't see what's going in the cup.
Yeah, and there's like Cayman tried to break it down, not last year, the year before, and you when you get into where you're pulling those larvae out and that, you can't really tell what's going on.
The only guy that I know that has a video like that is Jason with New River Honeybees. No, it's Jason with New River Honeybees. He's a queen breeder. Okay. He's out of West Virginia. Just look up New River Honeybees. He sells out like crazy fast, and or at least he did, and that's all he does in beekeeping is queens, and he does AI and all that. He is an certified artificial inseminator and all that stuff from the, I don't know, AI producers or something like that. He went there.
That might be something I dig out here later this fall. Like I said, I've got all the stuff sitting in the box downstairs, but I've never played with it. So I might have to try and play with that a little bit this fall if I have time.
He had a video like, if you're thinking about it, this is what you're up against financially. And you're going to spend a minimum $2,000 and that was at that time.
I've got all the equipment.
You got the binocular.
I got the
not the telescope, but the
magnifying microscope. Yeah, I got the microscope.
Yeah, because he had one where he wanted to have binocular vision where he could look through the microscope, but he also have the camera up on the screen on the wall at the same time. And when he was doing the in vitro or whatever it is you would call it.
Yeah,
Jason Bragg, that's his name. Bruce Brown, it says there, Jason Bragg, that's his name. He's the only one I know that's got a pretty darn good video of that where it's all, what he's doing, he's using his microscope to show that. And he can record that and all. Where does Jason Bragg gets his drones? He gets them from his own hives, from his breeder queens. He's got like queens from what is it, Minnesota? What's her name? The gal out there at the college. Oh, I don't know. She's got those Minnesota hygienics and stuff. I think it's Minnesota. He's got, Sue Kobe, kind of all the name brand science gals that are doing all that stuff. And then what he does, he's also a 3D printer guy, and he made up a drone catching box, and he sits out there and he'll catch 300 drones out of this one queen's hive. And then he'll sit there and squeeze out the semen, which will be all of a drop. And then he'll suck it up. And he has, the semen tanks are filled with, what is it?
CO2.
Yeah, the liquid in there. It's frozen liquid, or whatever.
Okay.
And he
freezes the drone semen.
Liquid nitrogen, is it?
No.
Yeah, my understanding is now I haven't done it. I'm going to throw that out there just so that everyone knows I haven't done it. But from what I've read up and the research I've done, is the tail is so long on a honeybee sperm that if you freeze it, that tail breaks off.
I don't know. He did it. He unfroze it, and it worked for him. I was one of the last videos I watched. But he basically puts the sperm in those tanks, nitrogen tanks or whatever it is, just like Sire Power and all those guys do with the cattle. He's got an extensive operation, and he was talking about he had a video on how he preps his workstation area, I guess you call it, getting ready to do this and that, and sterilizes it. I mean, it's like being in an operating room. That's how intense it is when it comes to everything being totally sterile and everything. Like running saline liquid through the piping and the little teeny, all that kind of stuff. It was quite involved in his videos. And then he was about 5 years ago, him and Joe May were up there, and he was the first guy. I know the club next to me in Pennsylvania where I belong to, they were going out there with balloons, and they were going to try to find the drone congregation area with these balloons. And I was at one of their meetings, and Jason just had put a video up. I said, "You guys are all old school." And they looked at me, "What do you mean?" I said, "You got to get yourself a drone helicopter." And he had a wire. He glued this a live queen to it somehow. And he flew that drone around his property all over the place up there in West Virginia. And he found there was some place alongside of a wooded, they know that's close to a wooded edge, close to somewhere they can get water and things like that. And he found it took him like all day to figure all that stuff out. And then he had one there where people say, the drones don't mate with your queens in the same apiary. Well, he actually showed some videos of that actually happening. So, but he's had a back operation. The last time, I think it was about a year or more ago, and he had some issues. I don't know what he's up to these days right now.
So, hey, check this out. So, have you seen Black Mountain Honey's incubator?
Mm-mm.
Let me share screen again. So this looks like a Walmart. Sorry, this looks like an ad. That looks like
and marketplace integrations. Users can just.
Today, I'm going to give you the.
That looks like a Walmart
Architect
tool
Queen
chest that they'd made into a
from
queen
Romania.
incubator, like you're talking.
There you go.
And
Right, so first up, why do we?
all right, we'll fast forward, Lawrence. Where's it at? All right, come on.
See, I looked at some of those. I didn't understand why you'd need all that in the top.
It's the only thing I do like about it is it's got a removable cord.
Well, that's what mine has.
Well, that's because you're making it or made it.
up there though, which is really good to put a few consumables
But
and accessories
it's a tool
in
chest.
that you can
That's all it
access
is.
without
It's
actually
just a
opening
toolbox,
it
yeah.
up.
$15
Remember, the whole idea
toolbox.
here is to keep the warmth in. You don't want
And
to have to think, oh, I need a
I
little bit
guess
of
it's
this. I need
got
to go in and
the
get. The connector just fits into this socket here.
port on it
And then
there.
what's nice is that it's got a
Male to
screw
female.
connection, 230 volt or 240
The
volt.
piece
option.
mine's
But
got
for me,
messed
that's
up
no
on it.
issue at all. I've got a big 230. But
And
again,
that's it,
it is
right
a little
there.
bit basic. It is a little bit budget. It's the kind of thing that if
Easy
I'd have had a
peasy.
go at doing it,
I just
probably
looked
made
one of
a better
the
job
similar
maybe
thing
myself.
up.
Just a
It's
little bit rough and ready around the
$592.
edges. And this is the problem: is that you can't buy these on the
Mm.
market.
On that foam
Price is
there,
available.
James,
I
it
have
does
no
it
doubt in my mind that
on
the
yours. Does
carousel
it have a
was made
bottom so they can't get out,
considerably
or a
better.
screen
Yeah.
underneath there?
But in
Yeah,
reality,
you know,
it's
there's
going to serve
it's a bottom. There's a bottom on the
cheaper than
bottom
the
of all that.
carousel. This one here holds
Is
around
it, is it
150
screened so they can
cells, and
breathe,
for
or
that
what?
version of the carousel,
No,
you were
it's
looking at a
foam.
lot more money.
But I mean,
Nothing in there is airtight, right?
no.
Back up. Does he show how he puts his heating pads in there?
No, he didn't. He didn't show it broke down. But he bought that. He didn't. He did not make it. He bought it.
Oh, okay. I made mine. Stay tuned.
He made his based on my purchase.
I'm not jealous of Chris Manson's Queen
I took
Incubator.
one look at Bob's and I was like, well, I could do that.
And he's like, hey, what's the number on that box?
Exactly. And I did buy a bigger one though. I got mine a little bit bigger. I went one size up.
So that's the let me see, expensive operation. Oh, they're talking about the artificial insemination there. Makes for much better queens, also guarantees they don't get eaten in mating flights. No.
Yeah, right.
There's no guarantees on that, right? So it's always a numbers game, right? So if you need 10 queens and you're getting a 50% take, then you need to at least graft 20, right? So you can get the 10. Or better yet, you start with how many you need. If you need 5 and you're getting a 50% return on mated queens, then you got to
graft 20.
You got to graft 20, so you get half of those, which is 10, and half of those will come back mated, so you got your 5 you actually needed.
Yep. So a chicken incubator will work. I actually got a lizard incubator. I just bought it off of Amazon. I bought one of those lizard incubators with the clear door on the front, like you can see through the door. It's got a fan and everything in the back.
I was looking at buying one of them.
My queen are in a
quite
chicken
well.
incubator right now.
There you go. It's no longer a chicken incubator. That's a queen incubator, Bob.
And you know what? When it's neither of those things, it's a honey warmer.
There you go.
I'll take my 1-pound bottles and lay them in there in the incubator at 98 degrees, 100 degrees, and let them decrystallize. And someone wants a bottle of honey, I grab it out of the incubator, and there you go. Multitasking with the same piece of equipment.
That's called efficiency 101.
Right. Cheapness for not buying a different piece of equipment for everything. What? I wanted to remove that, sorry. But yeah, guys. So it's after midnight. I've got graft to do tomorrow.
Yep.
What? I still like Sam let them make their own or get from Bob. Yeah, we went and got queen cells, so today. Sam out of necessity, he lets them make their own. Does that make sense? So because he cannot graft and he doesn't want to buy queens, he does walkaways. Now he's become very proficient with doing walkaways and cutting out cells and moving them that way. So nothing wrong with that. However, going to get 20 cells today just boosted him to like the next level, right? He's like ahead now. So, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with letting them make their own queen. It just depends on your application, right? And what your goals are and what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to expand a bunch, then maybe you don't have the time, to put them in there, let them wait 16
Depends
days.
on your depends on your season.
Yeah.
James has
Yeah.
a short season.
I did 4 walkways last year. Actually, I had 7 or 8, but I only kept 4 of them. See how they're lean
and where
James
Carl
can't
is
do
and I am,
walkways.
it's
yeah.
not
I
too
can't
bad
do
of a
walkways.
season.
I did runovers. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
What was that? I'm sorry, James. I didn't hear what you said.
I did like 3 or 4 runovers last year. I ran over to the trees and I got my bees out of the tree and put them back in a box.
I only had 1 of them last year, and it didn't make it through the winter, which I found out later on. It was a queen that was on the way out anyway. So
Yeah, so walkaways are good. I mean, like you said, you have to wait 30 days. And then what happens if that queen doesn't make it back? Now you're in a whole different situation.
yeah, then you put another frame of eggs in there, and you hope that they produce.
And you wait
another 30 days.
Another 30 days.
Yeah.
Well, my season's over.
And when we only have 90 to 100 days here in Northeast PA, that doesn't work too well.
Nope. And the thing of it is, if you're trying to make 10 boxes of bees or 10 increases, you need 10 cells now.
Yeah. And like
or
you were
10
talking
birds,
about your
10
weather,
virgins,
Charles.
whatever.
Charlie, you were talking about your weather. I looked at my weather for the next 30 days. The average high is 45 degrees and the average low is 25.
So you're about 10 degrees colder than I am.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just shortens that season. Even though we had a mild winter in that, you still don't know. Like they say, Mother Nature is a bitch. So
yeah,
I don't trust anything, no matter how good it's going, I'm not going to trust it until I get into June. I can't trust anything here until I get into June because I've already had snow here April the 20th. And I'm not talking an inch, I'm talking 3 to 4 inches. So
yeah, for here, like queen rearing, really it's around the 1st of May to where that nighttime temperature gets up in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Because if you get down in the 40s, forget it.
Yeah, I bought an Apiarine hive. What is it, 6 frame, 7 frame there?
Yeah.
And I bought it just for that insulation factor so I can try to get an earlier jump.
I got a license like Bob's got it there. It's insulated and
yeah.
Now I didn't use it last year, but I definitely am going to.
Hey, but those nukes don't have anywhere near the insulation those 10 framers have. I mean, you're looking at 7/8 on a 6 frame nuke. Yeah, and the deeps are 2 inches thick on the sides.
And that's what
the license poly, yeah.
But they're still warmer than a wooden box.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I accidentally made a split, right? When I accidentally dropped the queen in there and she just went blew it up. So
yeah.
Hey, did you check and see if that one that came back from your vertical split, is she laying?
She was walking around in there. And remember I said I had checked her and didn't see her in the box anywhere? But she's got the red dot on her back, so it's the same queen. It's not like a different queen. So I imagine she'll be laying this week.
So did they both come back or just the one?
Just the one. The other one started making more queen cells out of what? I don't know, but they made some. And so I'm going to let them go.
Well, if they made some, I would have to think that she came back and laid an egg or two.
Yeah, she's probably not just valuable.
Well, the other one, I'm going to let her, as soon as I see some cat brood in there, they're moving off of that other colony, right? They're going to move into their own location, wherever that is.
Got her.
And I don't know how, I want to move them from a medium to a deep. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So just put a deep on top of them, let her work out into it, and then remove the medium out of the bottom. Put the queen on and put on top.
Yeah, and then exactly, and when everything hatches out of the medium, then you can remove the medium box. Oh, Lisa's back.
Yeah.
I still got to go watch her video before the end of the night. You know, that's the first time. It's the first time I think I got a video where it says, "Oh, you were mentioned in a video." So I got to go see what I did or didn't do, or maybe what I got to go do.
Maybe she's doing something that you had recommended. Oh, maybe it's
Well,
her
possibly.
queen mating.
Oh,
She
could
did
be.
a draft on Friday. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. I gotta go look and find out. The anticipation is killing me.
Yeah, I did tag you. I mentioned needing one of those grafting frames.
Oh, there you go.
So you know what? These
Actually, I could do that now because I don't know whether you guys knew I was having issues with the motor on my saw.
Right.
Oh, what did you do about that? That was an expensive motor you were telling me.
It is. So here's what we found. We took it all apart. We found out it wasn't the bearing in the motor. There's a fan, an internal fan in that motor that had broken free from the shaft. So we took it all apart. We cut that fan off. I can't get another one of those fans. And we just put her back together. So I guess I'll put it back together and run it till it explodes, I guess. But I think as long as I just keep it blowing out really good, and the other thing too is it has one of those shivs, sliding shiv on it, because the way it depends as to how you have the blade set, and the motor would go both ways. So what we did is that shiv was all scored up on the one shaft. So we turned the motor around, put the shiv on the other side, reversed the wires on the inside as per it had on the motor, and spun the motor the opposite way. And that thing just purrs like a kitten out there now. So I'm good again for, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, which is great because I was dreading it. All my jigs are all set up to make my grafting tables off of that saw, and I was thinking if I have to buy a new saw or something, I'd have to make up all new jigs and all new tables. So I'm very happy about that, and I should be able to get a bunch of grafting tables done up and fired out here again then.
I gotta get with Lee and figure out how to set this camera up. So, all right, guys. Well, it is 12:24. Let's call it a night so James can go watch his video, and we can get some rest before grafting day.
Yeah, I'll be up good and early in the morning and turn on my crock pots out there and be waxing again.
Oh, guys, thanks.
All right, Carl. We'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. All
Thank
right,
you,
y'all
guys.
have a good night,
everyone.
and we'll talk to y'all later. Good night.
Bob, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.